3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasing the Racing, powered by OMG Bennett, and we have the final slot filled, which sounded kind of wrong, I'm not going to lie. But the final slot is being filled by JC Truck and Trailer Rental, Tamworth. You see, I need to get better at this. Anyway, I haven't even introduced the co-hosts here. We have an absent co-host this evening, but the ones who have dedicated themselves to the cause and haven't flaked out due to illness, we have Josh Corner and Joe Ackroyd. Let's just lay into Christian in a little bit. He's a total flaker.
I don't think I can, actually. I think
Oh, shut up, you soft shite. Get on with
it. He actually must be dying. Because he's done. I've seen him ride motorbikes with broken collarbones. He must genuinely have the worst case of man flu. I actually think we should probably FaceTime Nicola.
No, I'm not even doing that.
If that's the case.
Well, this is proof of how much kids ruin your life. Because they just bring back these horrific tropical diseases from nursery, and it's put one of our fellow co-hosts in bed.
I'm going to put it out there that he was frightened that I was going to be quicker than him on the cycling tomorrow. So he's backed out of it so that he could get out. I think that's
all our listeners are now doing the sign, going, shut up, Josh, whatever. You're not going to out. There's no way you're going to out pedal him. Not a hope in hell. But but all joking aside, you are 100% right. The boy is fit as a fiddle.
So he must be dying.
He's written off. He's written off if he's not here.
I feel like we could really enjoy it. By the way, we're on strict timetable here of 10 minutes. The show's going to last 10 minutes because Grace, God love her, is going to be editing this on New Year's Eve. Yeah, so then it's going to go out on New Year's Eve. So I think it's nice to get a podcast so close to timetable. Not for poor Grace, God love her, but it's really nice to get it so we're up to date with the crack. But unfortunately, race seasons are on and the crack is very minimal.
It's just a long old winter, isn't it? It's just shit weather. It's pissing down. It's dark at 4 o'clock. Nobody's able to have a bit of crack with the bikes. It's hard, isn't it?
I tell you what, though, I'm going to chuck Josh straight under the bus. And he came up with a very, very good question, and I'm going to bring it up. Do you miss racing at the moment? You know what I mean?
I'm getting to that point where I'm ready for to start seeing a bit happening. I like this. I want to start seeing when I'm at work. I want to start seeing the testing pictures and getting the jealous feeling of everybody else. You know what I mean? So I'm about ready for that.
Are you struggling with it, or is it the pre-season terrassing around, trying to finalise things, get yourself in a good position? It's all that. It's stress, isn't it?
But I remember Chrissy when we first started the show, and I remember him sitting opposite, and this was when we did the show first of all in my sister's living room, and I remember him sitting opposite going, so it's winter and everything like that, and do you miss it? And he goes, no, I really enjoy the time off racing. And I kind of sat there going, hold on. And at that point he was chasing for the championship in Stock 1000, and I'm going, what? Yeah, I was totally blown away with the fact that he was he appreciated the downtime, and to be honest with you, I can see more and more into his mindset of that. It doesn't mean he's less competitive, but it's almost like taking not a step back, like a run up. You know what I mean? He's actually taking a bit of breath.
It's an opportunity just to recharge a little bit, isn't it? I mean, I'm not sat here speaking as some front running big shot. I'm just in the little world of my own world of what I'm doing.
But wait till next year, kids.
I doubt it. But it is nice. I've started, I'm 34 now, so I've been doing it a while, and it's nice to have a winter. You do sort of get to the end of the year and you think, it's nice just to not have to be committed to something every single weekend, and then every day in between the weekends panicking to get everything ready for the next thing, and then squeezing in your training and a bit of family time. It's hard, so it is nice to get to winter, I think, and not, you can just put a sheet over the bike and forget about it, can't you, basically, and just have a...
Well, it doesn't matter. You've got however many months off. No one does anything, and then 2 weeks before the start of the season.
Yeah.
But not everybody does that. But it feels like that sometimes, doesn't it? It does feel a bit like... it doesn't matter how long the winter is, there's always something to be doing. And then it doesn't matter how much you've done over winter, 3 weeks before the first round or the first test, everyone will be like, shit.
But are you sorted for next year? Have you got things sorted, whether you wanted to talk about or not?
Mate, I can't even grow a full eyebrow, never mind sort me next season out. I can't, mate, it's an absolute nightmare. I can't even do that anymore. It's terrible. It's grow a hell of a moustache, though. You know what I mean?
It is funny, though, because when we're all together for a little get-together at Christmas, and it was nice having everybody's other half's there and stuff. And go on, Dominic, what are you gonna say?
It just makes me laugh because, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm self-employed, so is Joe, and like I'm gonna have to go back to a question I came up with just beforehand, but it's kind of like the self-employed Christmas do. But even when we go to big Christmas do's, there's always kind of an unwritten rule: no one talk about shop, no one allowed to talk about work. You know, we're here for socialising. Doesn't matter what Christmas do, doesn't matter what trade, across the country, across the world.
Gut full of work, nobody talks about it.
Mate, within 5 minutes, one beer's down and everyone's going. But my question beforehand is, you two, to be blunt, have actually turned it, motorcycle racing, into a career. You know, you're working with Dubai, you've worked with Triumph, you know, you're working with Norton. So arguably you two, I don't mean to sicken your shit here, but like, you can't really switch off.
No, you're surrounded by it all the time, aren't you? You are. But it's different because it's not racing, and there isn't the stress that goes with it with racing, and there isn't the expectation because there isn't the time for, you know, racing is the stress is all piled into that time when you're preparing and you're on the bike, where I think for me, well, it is for me with the bikes, it's the work is...
But what is it?
I mean,
it's a bit more of a way of life, isn't it?
That's exactly right. We were just talking about this the other day about it's just a different thing. And actually, this morning went to visit my parents, and they were saying, "So do you like your new job? Because it is a change." And I was like, "Well, actually, for the first time ever, I feel like I'm just doing the thing I should be doing." And yeah, there's lots of things, because they've just seen us be like stressed out about a lot of different things related to it. But that's just goes with any job. But I'm like, they've sort of said to me that they like the fact that I'm doing that now. So from being like 6 years old, all we ever did together was race motorbikes. So it's like they feel fulfilled in that now. Whatever they allowed me and helped me to do has like resulted in a full-time career. And if you ask my mother, she's probably happier that I'm doing it that way than racing. So it's
you've done your apprenticeship, haven't you? And the investment of the money you've put into the racing actually is paying you back in a different way. But,
going racing, did all that, got as far as you could go. You could argue could have done a bit longer, a bit more, whatever. And then
you are the youngest retired man in racing. Period.
Yeah, but then did like a good stint working for different tech businesses and stuff like that, and that's all come together now. And to like, I've never had the Monday blues. I don't dread going to work, or every day is good and I enjoy it, which is like that's worth a lot, you know.
Here's a question. It's like any job, you know, like any job in the world, you know, sometimes you get ups and downs, and when the downs outweigh the good, will that be a bit of a regret being involved in bike racing in that way? Like in the
it's always a risk, you know, if you turn your
passion,
not a hobby, but your passion and your love into a career, and into a job, there's always a risk it's going to become a job. And Christian said, and even Nicola said, didn't she, when we went out to eat, it changed from going to a race meeting for it to be a weekend of crack and enjoying herself to the dynamic of it's changed now. It's become an expectation, and the stress and the pressure, and it's actually a way of paying the bills now. So it does change, but I don't know.
What makes, in your opinion, if you could label it, what makes racing stressful? Now, from the outside looking in, it's like, especially, you know, people listen to this, you know, the bike fans, and it's the world's best sport, period. Football's forget. Anyway, I didn't finish that. I didn't get in trouble. Kind of that slipped out the woodsman in me there. I do apologise. But, you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
At what point does racing become stressful? I've got a stupid answer for that.
Oh, go on then.
Not a stupid answer, but it's like, it's expectation. You said the word there.
That's it.
You know what I mean? The problem is, it becomes stressful when you feel like, well, I'm not getting X, I'm not getting Y. And you know what it is? I will only stop racing, beside the obvious of injury, but it's financial. And that's where the stress goes. And then for me, it's a bit like the second you go up to a level, you know what you need more of? Money. And then you go to the next level, then you go to the next level, then you go to the end.
But I don't necessarily agree with that, because I was sat thinking, you could be a millionaire, you'd still be stressed to fuck. because you would have an expectation in yourself of where you wanted to be as a result. And you know how stressful it is trying to set a bike up and you can't get the thing working for yourself, or you're not where you know you can be, or you're not riding in the position that you know you're capable of running with certain people, or the opportunities aren't coming to you, all the money in the world. It's not always about money. A team's got to want to have you in there. And so you could be sat there with millions in the bank and you go, well, I just want an opportunity with you guys, with you people around me, and to be able to represent your team and be wearing those leathers with that team on it. All the money in the world can't buy it. If that team has a title sponsor and they know that they have a certain expectation,
it totally depends.
You're chasing something else then, aren't you, that finances can't provide?
It does totally depend.
I don't know, it's just my take on it.
No.
And it's right though, but it depends on your level, like you say. Your level where you're at. There's a million different reasons to make bike racing stressful, and it's personal, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Just even getting there, it's not like going to play a football. You can play local and stuff. It's difficult to put the thing together. We know that, but if I tell you what, the best for me, if I could go back to when I was riding 125s, and me and my dad used to go in a van, and we just did what we could afford to do. We probably couldn't, right? But we just did what we thought was right. There was like a sweet spot of about a season where I was just like, if I could do this for the rest of my life, it would be amazing.
Super teens for me.
But then it just
exactly that.
Okay, the year after that
transit van, caravan.
Let's put that in the rough numbers. You know, both your timeline. Was that 2 years in, 3 years in, 4 years in? I feel like I'm playing a game show here.
4 years that would have been.
4 years.
I'd done mini motos and
right. So
I would have been
3 years in
13, 14. So
same,
probably like what 7 years into racing.
So that's quite, you know.
I enjoyed it when I was mini bike racing. It was a different thing, and I didn't. You don't know, like, well, but I still believe we were too young really to be racing. Like, actually, if I look back now, I wouldn't change it. I was grateful for it. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to be there. I wasn't forced into it. But you actually are to, like, I have strong belief on that now. I think that's too young to be doing it at the level and what we were trying to do.
I was always, do you know what? I don't always see eye to eye with my dad. Typical father-son relationship, but but I have to be fair to him that there was never any pressure on me. And racing mini bikes was a replacement. I played rugby till I was 11 or 12, and then went to do the mini bike thing, and it was never right, well, my lad's going to be the next British champion or whatever. So there was never pressure from him. And if I didn't want to do it, I could have stopped.
The pressure comes in different ways, doesn't it? So I didn't have that pressure from my dad. He didn't force me to do anything. But what I definitely did have was, once you start to grow up, once you're 10 years old, right, you kind of understand that shit costs money. And when you're going in a motorhome and you're doing this and doing that, and then you start to see all the other lads turning up and stuff. So, like, if we turned up in a nicer van than the other people, you realise that what you had, it's like a point in life where you're just starting to understand that
life's a pissing contest.
Like,
the biggest dick usually wins.
No, I mean that in a nice way. So
I'm out. I'm done.
The pressure, like, I wasn't necessarily, like, we did it as a family, so it was different. You know what I mean? Like, you know. We didn't have like lavish things, but we didn't have like shit things either. It was like a nice balance. But what I mean is the pressure comes through that. Like, you don't realise once you get to the age where you understand it costs a lot of money, then it's like, well, I better start taking this seriously, or I'm going to have to stop because it's not really fair. Because they can afford it, but only just.
I had a paper round. I used to have to just get back and I don't know what it was, 13 quid or something in an envelope, and I'd just give it straight to my dad. Just as soon as I got back, there you go. Just and then started my apprenticeship, getting 160 quid a week as a mechanical engineer, and same thing. I just gave him every penny I had. I just said, there you go. And I would have just enough when I started driving, just enough to insure the car and a bit for fuel money. And then every penny I gave him, any money I earned, there you go, Dad. It goes back into it. And
did I ever tell you the Xbox story?
Go on.
You could afford an Xbox, you.
No, so this was like the moment for me that I realised I wanted to try and race bikes. So we're doing the Aprilia Super Teens, and my dad worked away, and it would have been the same time that I met Chrissy, actually, that sort of year. And there was a race on at Cadwell Park, and Dad was like, look, you can't go on Friday. He goes, I can't afford to take you. He's like, so we're going to have to just go Saturday. You'll have to miss practice. You'll just have to qualify and you'll just be where you'll be. Don't worry about it. But that's all I can afford this weekend. That's what it is. And I was like, my initial reaction was like relatively selfish. I was like, fuck's sake, I want to go. But I didn't say that to them. And this is what you think of when you're 12 years old. You don't know this stuff, right? And I'd got an Xbox, like, for that Christmas or something, which was like amazing. And I to be honest, I'm not ever have been a massive like gamer or anything like that. So it wasn't, I was grateful for it. I wanted it, but it was like, your parents just going above and beyond for you. And I unplugged it out of my bedroom and cycled into town to, remember what CEX became a thing, right? And I went in, I was like, I want to sell this Xbox. And they were like, all right, okay, how old are you?
I'm old enough. Give me the money.
Anyway, they wouldn't sell it. So I went out in the street and found someone. Like, it's so fucking weird. Like, I probably you wouldn't get away with it now, right?
South Shields down, boy.
Found someone in the street and was like, look, this is legit. I just need to sell it. I just want, anyway, convinced somehow this person to come into the shop and sell it on my behalf and get the money. And cycled all the way home with this like 200 quid or whatever it was. Don't even think it was that. Went home and I remember my dad was like, pack the van. He just thought, I think that was the moment that he went, oh fuck, he actually wants to do this, and he's like committed to doing it. And I was the same for me. So like the money that I got for the Xbox was like basically
didn't cover anything really.
Well, no, and I just gave like a £500 Xbox away for like half the price. My man was livid, and my dad was like, "Yes, son, pack the van, let's go." And it probably wasn't enough to cover anything, but I think that kickstarted really. That was a big.
You knew how badly you wanted it.
Yeah, and it was like, we went and I fucking crashed the first session as well on the Friday. It wasn't great. So anyway,
Xbox money was well out the window at that point.
Yeah, it was. But I loved it. I remember just loving it. We had a transit van that had been converted to like a little camper, and we used to have a little pop-up awning on the side, and just Aprilia Super Team bike, and just rocked up and we did club meetings whenever we could, really. And just
good old days.
Went to Mallory Park in that van. I'll never forget going before it was converted, first round of the season, and it was fucking freezing, and we just had a mattress in the back of the van and the bike, and I'll just never ever forget this moment, sitting in the back of that van with me dad, being like, you all right? Are you happy? I was like, yeah, I'm buzzing. Fucking bike's there. We had us sleeping on the floor. He was getting out and doing the bike in the morning for us and stuff, and we had a guy a mate of his from who he's still mates with now from home visiting, and he rang. He's like, I'm 20 minutes away, can you pop up with the tickets? Dad was like, yeah, I'll run up. And I was like, I'll come with you, we've got time. So gets to like the bridge to go over the track, and I was like, Dad, I'm going to go back and get ready. I'm just worried I'm not going to be ready in time. Yeah, right, well, there's the key for the bike, warm it up. So I runs back to the van, got to the van, no key. I was like, fuck, I've dropped the key. So I'm running around, can't find it anyway. Dad got back, I'm crying my eyes out. He's like, don't worry, just get ready. And his mate who came, I won't mention any names, dodgy bastard. Anyway, he just got a screwdriver out of the toolbox and hammered it in the ignition, turned it and got the bike running, went out, and I was just all flustered and went flat out straight on into turn one at Mallory. Fucked it. Fucked the bike. We laugh about it now. Anyway, he's like, fuck's sake, Josh. Got back. He said, don't worry about it. It's fine. We can always fix it. It'll be grand. So we're like,
don't tell your mother.
We didn't even have an awning, we just had the bike at the side of the van, and the lads parked next to it. I forget their names now, and I would hate them to think that. I've never forgotten, but I can't remember his name. It was Andy something. I can't remember his surname. He was riding a GP 125. They helped her put a light out of their awning, put it back together. Dad fitted a new ignition kit and everything, the whole bike. Next morning, message over the tannoy, can Mark Corner come to the thing? Someone fucking handed the key in. Couldn't believe it. I was like, that's the first time I thought he was going to kill us. He went like that. The steam came out of his ears. He was like, right, it's okay, don't worry about it, we've got a spare now, it's fine.
It's amazing how much it tests your racing, eh?
Yeah, it was just funny. Like it wasn't at the time, but it was amazing. And I would give me right arm to go back to those days. But when do you think it when you go to BSB? I think, because the level just goes up.
We finished Super Teens and then went into GP bikes and into 125s, and at that point it just changes. The level of what you're surrounded by, the fact that the spec of the bikes can be so different, or back in the day they were, you know, there was KRP and Steve Patrickson and Pete Banks, and, you know, there were big names doing the class, and big names running the teams, and, you know, there was a lot of money going into 125. The Lowe's brothers were in it. UK One, do you remember them? Tommy rode for him, and Danny Webb, and so that at that point, you know, when you're in a BSB paddock, shit just got real, and you know, you're not there to mess about, to piss around, you know. But anyway, hey,
sorry,
back to the point. I think the last time we did the catch up with the four of us,
tell them the truth.
Well, there was a few comments that I did agree with, that we dropped the ball a little bit because we missed a few key points. Obviously, Paul Bird had just passed away, and we didn't really talk about that. And I drove home thinking there's so much stuff that we've missed, and then I think it was kind of noticed by some of the people that, and rightly so. So when you fuck up, you hold your hands up, don't you?
100%.
So, fucked up.
No, maybe we did.
Listen, we're a passionate group, and we're like, we'll catch it up.
I think we missed a few key points because we did
do that. Agree.
Jonathan Ray going to Yamaha, Top Rat going to BMW. There was a lot of big things that had happened, and we are a motorcycle.
I would spin that joke. We didn't fuck up. What we did is
we did.
You're one of them that when you get caught doing something wrong, you will just try and blather your way out of it,
officer,
whereas I just go, I fucked up, just bang to rights.
No, we missed a few bits, but on the bright side, it means we can have a bit of crack about it now, when, quite frankly, there's not a lot really happening. Everyone's off for Christmas and having a bit of time. So,
see, the mad thing is, lads, it's been a whole year since we restarted Chrissy's podcast. You know what I mean? Obviously, we've got. I know I was taking the piss before. You know, Christian's not here, but lads, how we haven't killed each other in a year, you know, is outstanding. You know what I mean? It's like so, and it all credit yet again. And she edits this, and she hates it every time I give her a compliment. But Grace and the Rouse family have done an amazing job, absolutely amazing job keeping us going. But no, you're 100% right. And the point of this show is like this is out on New Year, so happy New Year. Hope everyone's had a good Christmas first of all. I see, I'm learning. Bear in mind, I didn't actually mention the individual sponsor for this episode, and that's Ability Energy, Scotland's foremost renewable specialist. But more importantly, he's a hell of a man. And so, like I said, I know him. He's sponsored Keith Farmer, and now he's sponsored Jamie Lyons and the whole family, Kat and everyone. They're absolutely fantastic people. But that's the good thing about this podcast is, like you say, we do have. I feel a bit sick when I say this, but responsibility. No. We do and we don't. We're Pirate Radio, and it's without people supporting us like OMG Bennett and JCD and everyone, this wouldn't happen. So it is very important that we get as much information we can, and I think it's a great idea. It's probably the wrong way of saying it, but I think we should actually talk about, you know, how poignant this year has been. You know, I know we've brought it up a few times about the whole Glenoo and Tommy Bridewell battle, but how can you not? It's been unbelievable news, but I think it's been very important how good that has been for Paul Bird's memory. The fact that they've won the championship, you know, we lost Paul Bird.
Yeah,
feels a bit surreal still, doesn't it?
Yeah, because Birdie's such a huge part. Like, for me, everyone's got like a Birdie memory, whether it was of Paul himself or the team or one of his riders, or, you know, an era that was particularly poignant for them. Or like for me, Sean Emmett Monster Mob years was the years in BSB when I always sort of think about, you know. That's always sticks in my head, you know, and then the domination when Shaky then went to Monster Mob, and there you go. So, like, for the Spotify listeners on this, I'm holding up Grace's calendar that she's been doing my riding graphics. Yeah. And, you know, when, like, Paul, that's terrible. I can't remember which episode he was on with his son, but it's like, he was talking about how he's got Sean Emmett's lid up in his shitter. So every time he takes a shit, he can just look at that and reminds him of it. But obviously, that's the November element. But please buy a calendar for Grace, because she beats me if I don't pronounce these and announce these even.
We'll have a proper look through that in a bit, because I've not seen that.
Oh, it is good crack, like, but it is. But like you say, it's like.
But it leaves it leaves a massive hole in the sport. You know, he's been a huge part of a lot of top racers' journeys there. You know, I remember going back to the mini moto days when he was a big sponsor of Scott Redding.
Yeah,
and Scott Redding used to have the Monster Mob, little Monster Mob, 7.5 tonner, you know, and the bike was all done out in the Monster Mob. And, you know, Paul was a big help for Scott. And I'm sure there's a million other people that could say, you know, their stories. And obviously John, you know, John started his journey with Paul as well. And you just think, what a fucking gaping hole gets left in our sport.
There's so many top riders, actually. Like, I'm quite into reading people's
books.
Yeah.
Biographies, autobiographies.
There's a name. That couldn't get me words out. Thanks, Dominic. Yes, I know what books are.
Books.
It's the amount of Baileys is in that coffee. Your head's gone.
It's Christmas time.
But there's like so many top racers, like big names that have come across Birdie's team or him himself or had something to do with Road Force somewhere down the line. Actually, like bloody Rutter, McGuinness, Shaky, MS. There's so many. Stuart Easton. There's so many lads that were made their careers really.
It was just part. It was part of the furniture, wasn't it? Having Paul's team in whatever context that team were in there. Yeah. They were just part of the furniture. You would just expect to see it, and I think that's the surreal, you know, side of it. Is you go, well, ain't a bit. There's no more. You know, Paul's not there anymore.
But that's news of this. The possibly that the team's not going to be there as well. I mean, it's not confirmed. I don't know, but like
that's what we need to talk about.
Rumours at this stage, isn't it? But it sounds like it's not happening. So,
but the old saying goes like, "No news is good news." Not in motorsport.
No, and I hate to speculate. Speculating's awful, isn't it? It doesn't matter.
It could be damaging. It could be more damaging than good. But at the moment, these are the hard facts. Is that we have not heard anything. We had Jordan Bird on this podcast. What a powerful woman. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
well, if anyone's going to keep it going,
it's that family. 100%. It's 100%. But the mad thing is, we haven't heard anything at all. Like, I mean, it's just gone quiet. You know. We've had Tommy Bridewell on the show. He's announced, and even at that point, he was very, very quick to announce that he was riding for Honda. Yeah. So that's a big seat gone. And it's a bit like, right, let's talk hypothetically, lads. For whatever reason, Paul Bird Motorsport is not on the grid next year.
No, and then you wonder where Glenn's going to go, don't you? Because to my understanding, and again, fucking hell, maybe I'm wrong. You always panic about whether you're going to say the wrong thing or not. But as I understood it, Glenn was going to stay with PBM.
To be blunt, right? To be blunt, if Paul Bird Motorsport happens, Glenn has a humongous chance of winning the championship this year. You know, you're talking 1-2, best bike on the grid. At the moment, the only confirmed Ducati on that grid next season
is the Oxford
the Flaker. You know what I mean? And that's all we've got at the moment.
The Flaker. I was thinking what are you talking about? The Flaker.
I'm going to get as many digs in as I can because he's not here. You know what I mean?
Karma will get you. You'll get whatever disease he's got.
Mate, I'm the third good-looking lad now, officially, on the pod. No longer fourth. I'm moving up, baby.
You're still ahead of me, mate. Face like a box of smashed crabs. Anyway.
Have you ever picked up a box of it?
Well, you can just imagine it, can't you? What a mess.
Who teaches you these things?
I don't know where that one came from. But it came out of nowhere, to be honest. Let's talk about if Glenn. If the PBM thing happens, which we don't seem to know whether it is or it isn't, but if it does and Glenn is on the bike, he's in a fantastic position going into next year. If the PBM thing isn't happening, then where does he go? Because
there's still a few gaps, and there'll be teams that would want them.
What gaps are there?
Absolutely, teams are going to want him.
Based on facts, what gaps are there? So Martrain have gone with Danny Kent. Yeah, that's a top team.
Lee Hardy's bike isn't been announced yet,
but they've got a new sponsor data tag, haven't they? Is that?
I'm not sure.
No, I think they've gone. Anyway, I think they've got a new big sponsor on board, so that's a big question mark.
I did see the NEC all data tagged up. Yeah,
so anyway, but
possibly.
There's cheddar coming in,
and the McCams team, as it has been with Steve Rogers, that's gone now. Yeah. You know, so you lose arguably the two biggest teams on the grid, PBM and what was Raceways. You know, McCams Racing is.
Let's talk about arguably, what hot seats are left?
Well, let's go through where all the ones that are filled up. So OMG are done. As far as two rider teams are concerned.
So OMG, that's Vickers, Kyle Ride. Yeah.
Martrain's got Danny Kent.
Yeah. One rider team?
Yes.
Right, there you are.
Yes.
Yes, Honda have filled 7 riders.
That's,
Well,
yeah,
it's
we'll
Honda,
talk
yeah,
about
that's
that
a
one.
separate issue.
Jesus.
Honda are, as let's say, done. Torque Honda done.
Yeah,
With Jacko
Charlie Nesbitt,
and
who is
Nesbitt.
100% my outside, which is wrong. You can't have an outside bet, but I really want Charlie to win.
Yeah, I think
I
he's
just
got the
like
making
Charlie.
He's done his apprenticeship, hasn't he, this year? You know, he's done his apprenticeship
He's
and
just-
he's
and he's
started
won.
to, yeah.
Did he win a race this year?
Fuxton?
No,
Podiumed.
Podium.
Anyway, his front seat of his a little bit of a humble brag on the way home. Nice day at Thuxton, and his passenger seat's full of trophies. Like, wang it. You'll love that one.
Did the job this year, didn't he?
He did,
The
100%.
Milwaukee Taz team.
Now,
That's is Davey going there, or
no,
is
but
Davey
see, the
not
thing
going
is,
there,
the thing is, right?
or staying
History.
there?
We're talking about history, like history of a team at the moment. Now, you can only guess of what their past was. Davey is there, and he'll hate me saying this, but he's their roads rider, who was a very fast superbike rider. I'm not taking that away from him, but his number one priority for the task team, from me looking in, he's their number one roads rider.
But if they're going to,
So there's in my mind, they have ran, but they ran Sealy and Stock 1000 last year. They had Buchan. Was that this year?
no, Buchan's going there.
No, Buchan's left. He's going
Buchan
to Dow.
went. He went to Dow. Yeah, he's Dow.
Sorry, you're right,
No,
yeah.
so it's like, and then you think you had, and who was there? See, then they've had Hutchie. You know what I mean? They've had a freeway dynamic in the past. But I'm just thinking, with that, there's a potential gap with another superbike rider.
Yeah, there is.
You know, like Davey's ticking all the boxes both on superbike and roads, but there is, you know, I don't think he'll take any insult to this, but there is room for another experienced,
Yeah.
you know, an experienced superbike rider.
I would say that Davey takes I think Davey. I would categorise Davey in the same way you would categorise Hickman. He can be quick at BSB and quick on the roads. He's British, won it's a national championship, but he won Stock 1000 like quite convincing.
Oh no, we're not. When I'm not saying anything about Davey's right, but like FHO has Hickman
and Brooksy,
for the roads.
Yeah, but that's down to the fact that it's a 2-rider team. So my point with the task team is, in the past they've ran one super sport bike and one superbike, or one Stock 1000, one like this year. They only run one superbike this year, so maybe that's what they'll do again. But as it stands, you would think if they announced they're going to run another superbike, you would be like, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
That's definitely a question.
And I did think that maybe if Glenn Irwin was available,
that would be where his ass is going to end up.
It would certainly be a reason. If you were a team and you needed to run a competitive superbike and the person who finished second in the championship's available,
you would find a way of making that happen.
It might convince you. Yeah. So there's that.
But I always think the FHO and the Hickey thing, that team's built. Pete doesn't ride for FHO, does he? Pete is FHO. That team is his. You know, I always think that
it was definitely spawned out of his.
Yeah, well, it was the Smiths thing, and then he took that over, and then him and Faye have sort of been able to bring that powerhouse together.
That, you know, it works.
So I always think with that team, it's because I would think Hickey can probably make the decision on who his teammate's going to be. And it's probably the only team on the grid where one of the riders is probably on the contract for their fellow teammate, you know.
Possibly,
so
I tell you what, there's another thing for Taskmind. Now, I know Glenn, I'm pulling this out my arse like everything I've done on this show for the past few years, but pulling this one out my arse. But has Glenn openly said he will not go back to the TT? He hasn't, has he?
I don't know.
I don't know. No. It's not like a glued in thing. Now, bear in mind, Glenn, Tass, Davey, it's another.
I think he's probably more.
He's focused on winning British championships.
I don't know, he's obviously want to do the Northwestern stuff, won't he? But like, look, we don't know his honest answer. But
this is the fun of the end of the season grab, though. We're just pulling shit out of that.
Irwin's probably the hottest unsigned rider right now.
Yeah.
He might
that we know of.
We know of. So when you look at the rider market at BSB, it's pretty much done and dusted, isn't it? You've got a question mark over Glenn Irwin. Pretty much. I mean, there's Billy McConnell's going to be on a superbike this year, from what I hear.
Is that the pathways?
No, I've heard that's not happening anymore. So if you've seen the announcement with Jackson's and Fair Brothers of like split or something, seen that on social media, and my understanding is that McConnell is going to ride a full-blown superbike just in a one-rider team.
That'd be good.
Okay,
that'd be really good.
I could see. I don't know this, but I could really see. No, they're not called WD-40 anymore. They're Stouff.
War Department 40.
Whatever they're called. Eurocar parts.
Yeah.
You know, Brent
Storm.
Yes. I could see them running another Superbike.
Yeah.
To be honest.
But they've had Stock 1000 for years.
I just think that if there was I could see them potentially doing one. So there's maybe an option there. Don't know.
Tag haven't got anything confirmed yet.
No, and
you know.
Here's a question: what bike would you like to see Glenn on?
I'd like to see him on the PBM Ducati.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
just to see
for
PBM to be still on the grid.
I'd just like to see him.
He hasn't ridden the Yamaha though, has he?
No.
That was my next point. Sorry. So we're kind of rough, not that we haven't fully exhausted the list, but basically the grid is everyone pretty understands. Dow's done, they're two-rider team.
Yeah.
There's not really that many else kicking about.
No.
The FS3 are done.
But you talk about like
would one of them teams run a third bike? Like would OMG run a third Yamaha?
Well, not to jump to the MotoGP thing, but we don't know what's happening to Rory Skinner yet, do we? And if Rory has to take a step back from Grand Prix take a side step from Grand Prix.
That's a question.
Do you know what? I think it probably is a step back. I think it probably is a step back. If you're in your early 20s and your ambition is to be in Grand Prix and you're forced to come back into a British Championship, it's a step back.
It's old school triage.
No, that's fair enough.
That's how I would see that.
And he's probably never going to get the chance to go back to MotoGP.
No, so it is a step back, but it's also we know how fast he is, we know how competitive he can be, and maybe he's still got time on his side for him to come back, do the BSB route, find himself into World Superbikes, and you know we've seen. You know, Taron's done it. Going back to the earlier eras, that's the Cal Crutchlow, Johnny Ray, the Tom Sykes, all of them have done it through the British Championship. And Rory's got it on his side. His time's on his side that he can do that. All right, he can't fuck around for too long here, but there's a chance for him to go back to World Championships.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people like to say, don't they, like, oh, if you're running at the front in BSB, why would you go and ride Moto 2? Like, Taz got all
why
that.
wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like, it gets me. Like,
that's speaking. I'm sorry, but that's speaking as free races, that isn't it? But
yeah, but even if he comes back, what's he lost? He's all he's done's ever gained. Like the only thing that
if he does end up back in BSB, he will be a fucking weapon.
He will,
because the year that he's had this year learning from those lunatics.
Yeah, I'd put him down as an outside bet for the championship. He's on a good bike.
But it's where his ass is going to go, because if you were a team owner and you were sat going, well, I've got an opportunity to sign the man who finished second in the championship, or I sign him that's coming out of Grand Prix. Wow, what do I do? I've only got one seat available because, as we said, most of the seats are taken.
Right, here's a question of the pair of you. If you were Rory Skinner right now, would you take a shit seat in World Superbikes or a good seat in British?
Define shit.
Not top 10. And that's being brutal about it. You know what I mean? If he's in the top 10 at Worlds, it's like you're talking about building a career.
If I was him, I'd be coming back to being competitive, because you'll be able to earn some money either way. So
okay.
I'd go World Superbike.
Yes,
I just think it's...
Because I don't think there's any doubt or question over the lad's ability. So I think for him to have to come back and try and prove something in the British Championships is a waste of time.
Sometimes you just need that.
Yeah, but if his head's in a good space and he's confident and he's riding well and he knows, do you know what, I can get on a production bike and do, you know, I've been and done tests at wherever and I've done these times, and he knows he's in a good headspace and he's got the confidence to step into World Superbikes, knowing, a little bit like Taron did, knowing that he's not going to the best place on the grid, he's not going to the best team and the fastest bike, but contacts, you know, you don't know what Hopper's doing behind the scenes. The conversations you have with people are incredibly...
But to be honest, I can't comment really, because I fucking don't know. Someone offered me a World Superbike ride and I was going
to... You jump out, won't you?
But let's use another case and example here. And shit's a strong word, but anything in sport in general, outside the top 10, top 5, fucking hell, if you're not on the podium, you're classed as shit.
Yeah.
But it's clearly not the case. But hold on, but like my point is, Bradley Ray.
Yeah.
He's on a bike, he's fucking riding a thing. He is, but it's a bike.
Had a few good results this year.
No, I'm not taking that away from him. I think, you know, but you're talking about, he is not on the Ducati of, what's a short Spaniard fella name called?
Yeah, Bautista.
That's him. Thank you. He's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like if you put Rory Skinner on that Ducati, the world's on him, he should win. No, but then you think Bradley Ray, he would do the same. You know, it's that kind of dynamic, but you know what I'm getting at?
Do you know
Bradley Ray is doing what, in theory,
Rory could go and do. Do you know, I also think we and I only say this as someone who's been fortunate enough to, with the World Endurance thing, sample the racing outside of the British Championship. We get so suckered into BSB being the be all and end all of where you need to be to earn a living, to be noticed, to live the dream. And actually, when you get away from BSB, there's still plenty of opportunities out there, and there's other championships that can give you exactly what we all want. We want to earn a living racing, don't we? And we want it to be our jobs.
Yeah, but you still.
So if I go back to defaulting though, and people get sick of me banging on about it. There's people in that World Endurance Championship that are earning. They do 4 rounds a year.
Yeah,
and they're earning more money than you're ever going to earn in BSB. And there's riders in that championship.
But they've done years of doing them other domestic championships and cutting the teeth and doing all of that. And I just think, like, I get it.
But I'll get it. I'll quote. Do I quote him?
Yes.
Yeah, fuck it, I'll quote him. Because I think he'd say the same thing. James Westmoreland. So he did his time in BSB. Yeah. He's now a 4th rider for one of the Honda teams. And he's fucking quick.
Yeah.
He's there as a reserve man. He knows his job role, but he gets paid. And he has said to me himself, I wouldn't go back to BSB. He said, and he could go back to BSB and be competitive, but he's got no interest in doing it because actually, this path and this world here, I still get to ride my bikes. I get to do something different without the. So I don't even know how we got onto this. We've ended up.
No, but you just proved my point there. That's exactly right. He's there now because he's at that point in his career. Rory Skinner's not.
No, but I think. And hey, fucking hell, what do I know? I'm just a thick bastard from Yorkshire, but like
you're all thick bastard from Yorkshire.
But I think like what Bradley's had shaky guiding him to make the decisions that he's made, and like, we talked about this like in the middle of the year where we said, why would you be doing that, and why's Taron done this, that, and the other? And I think I remember saying them, we don't know the conversations that's gone on. We don't know what's been promised. After the fact, do your season. You're only going to do select rounds, but for 2024, this is what is going to happen for you. You don't know, do you? And I think for Rory, he's got to explore every avenue. Yeah. And I think
what about this rumour about going to America?
I haven't heard that one.
I would love to do that. Imagine a season in America.
It's not what it used to be, though, is it?
It'd be so much harder than doing a domestic championship.
100%, but everything in life worth having is not easy, is it?
I remember AMA.
It's on the rise. It's big, like it's good, isn't it?
It used to be massive. It used to be massive, and the money in it. We talked to Hopper about it, didn't we? And I remember watching it when it was Jake Zemke and Matt Mladen and Miguel Dumel, and Hodgson went over and did a stint for the paychecks because the money in it was just ridiculous.
Well, America's like that in general. Like for manufacturers, it's important,
but the arse dropped out of it, didn't it? And there was no money in it, and I think they're trying to throw a bit more money back at it again.
What's his jobs has turned it around, hasn't he? Wayne Rainey, really, Motor America. It is Wayne Rainey, isn't it? He's Motor America.
Yeah.
They've put a bit of life and soul back into it, and it's just gone from strength to strength. I think they've got the classes right. They've got the baggers.
I like the baggers. Ruben's House is going over to race for bagger. Ruben's House. Can you imagine him?
Harley Davidson must have went, oh yes, get the parts van open.
You've still got McWilliams serving a portion, innit he? Yeah. I think the British brilliant. He's brilliant.
I love watching them videos. You look at McWilliams and he's drifting the Titanic. The thing's like sideways.
He could park the Ben McCree. He's like, you know what I mean?
But their tracks in America as well, the tracks are mega, aren't they? Undulating, blind. I think they're fast.
They look good to watch. I'm not sure I'd want to ride some of them, but they look, I just think that championship's like really good. If I ever got the opportunity to go there, like, sorry Norton, but I'd be gone.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you never know, maybe with Norton. But
I tell you what, that was actually a bit of I'm going to ask a question from our Patreon list. Harry Bell. What's on everybody's racing bucket list? Is that now for me? That's one of my answers. Racing. Imagine doing a wild card in America.
Daytona. I'd love to do Daytona.
I would look.
And Suzuka 8 hours.
There you are.
Suzuka 8 hour and Daytona are my 2 bucket list ones.
I've got a few. I definitely, absolutely would want to do. I don't even care if it's just a lap. Want to ride around the Isle of Man on a race bike. 100%. Very good.
So like you'd squeeze into my levers.
Yeah.
Put a bit of weight on it.
Pretend I was Steve McQueen for a day. The 2-wheel version. No, I'm joking. But yeah, Le Mans would be cool. I think that's such a cool thing.
they've got this race
and Daytona 200, Le Mans, and a TT. I'd be fucking happy with that.
I don't even know why Daytona appeals to me, because
the three most expensive races you could get your hands on, by the way.
Have you not seen his jacket?
This fucker's been waiting to say that since I turned up.
Why fucking Paddington?
This was in the sale.
Sorry. Sorry.
What did Paddington eat? Marmite sandwiches.
Marmalade sandwich.
You're a bit like Paddington, aren't you?
Speaking of
fucking Marmite.
Hey, speaking of marmalade, my bike's still for sale. If anyone, that's a quick cheeky plug for out there.
What is it? You're as well telling the spec, the BMW.
Mate, we haven't got time. It's 2022 BMW S1000RR. I've done 130 mile an hour. I tried selling it to Joe, because if I could do that, imagine what he could have done on it. He's nodding away here.
Absolutely not. No, that's a shake. That's a shake, not a nod.
No, but like the mad thing, I've only done. It's never been. Oh God, I feel like Del Boy, like you selling an Xbox back in the day. Yeah, it's like that. It's never been ragged or ridden. Bigger chicken strips and KFC bucket. but it's no, but like it's never been rev past $4,000. It's dead low.
It's just been a show bike.
It has, mate. Yeah. I'm not being funny. It's only done the TD. I did. We've got Lauren. We've got the other half in the studio here, and I'm kind of looking at her at the same time. But it's we've done Northwest, because I was riding for John Burroughs' Gixxer 1000 Superbike at the same time. So I did one practice qualifying and in the race, and then TT, and then following year got it refreshed by Peter Hickman.
Yeah,
and then did a track day at Cadwell with Piggy, and then did the TT. It's literally a TT bike, so please get in touch, because I'm just like I'm abusing
big bike. No, well, it hasn't been down the road, has it? It's rare to find a race bike that hasn't been chucked at the fence a couple of times as well. So it's
full
straight.
Road tech, it's full everything. But that's it. That's the most annoying thing with thousands, is they upgrade quicker than iPhones. Doesn't necessarily. It's like, you know, when you get an update on your phone,
they're just immediately out of date, aren't they? As soon as you built them, they're out of date.
Yeah, but the mad thing is, it's still, you know, it's still a 200 mile an hour motorcycle, and it's fucking, it's quick, mate. It's ready to go. TT tank, full everything, mate. You could.
Yeah.
I rolled it in off the TD, cleaned the living shit out of it, put new fairings on it. You could race that down Braille tomorrow. TT
probably would
tank.
have sold it if you'd left it dirty.
I've got the fairings. I can chuck them back on, no bother at all. Anyway, that's a side note, and I feel like we're doing a catch up. But one thing we must talk about is a little bit on the World Superbike element.
Well, I think there's a bigger thing just to finish on the BSB thing, and that is obviously the.
You really sell this to me, you know that. I got a leg up.
Sorry,
yes. Round the BSB, because there's a couple of bits actually. There's what you're going to mention, and I'd like to talk about the sport bike class as well, actually.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
okay,
I was just going to say, obviously the big news that I think we do have to mention, but we maybe don't need to get too involved with, because I don't know where it's at, is Dan Linfoot getting stripped of the National Superstock title. Which
Jesus,
I ventured onto social media just to have a chuckle at the keyboard warriors, and fuck me, there's some amazing armchair managers out there, isn't there, that have read 3 words, and they've got such an established opinion on things, you know, and you can't beat people that are misinformed and badly educated on then taking to social media. You just think, wind your fucking neck in, because there's 2 sides, isn't there? But it's no secret that, you know, me and Dan have known each other a lot of years, but I do feel for him.
Yeah, well, you know, this is that kind of worms that we're going to open here, because it's mad, isn't it? Because I met Richard Kerr, funny enough, like roughly this time last year at a motocross track, and you know what an absolute diamond of a lad.
Oh, he's a mint lad.
He's an absolute, like, you know what I mean? we're just putting a character reference based on mine, which is probably not arguably the strongest, but like Richard Kerr, now there's no way. I don't know him well enough, you know what I mean? I know Richard. I've got to spend a day with him. What a down-to-earth fella. And as a racer, and I think this is fair to say across all races, there's no way Richard Kerr woke up, high-fived the nearest person, went, I've just won the Stock 1000 Championship, what do we do with that? Now, that is my perception on it. You know what I mean? It's like, but there is that element of the rules are rules.
Yeah.
But
rules are rules.
No, but the mad thing is, I wasn't there on the day. And and it's mad. There's only a handful of. This is the kind of worms that we've opened.
My understanding, just because I'm going to try not to go too far into it, because I don't want to be misquoted, or I don't want to say something that is factually incorrect. But there was a lot of the whole thing is around a particular hole that was in the master cylinder on the front brake.
Right.
And there was also the things that I saw when I'm talking about people being misinformed and badly educated was on the matter was that people were commenting on what this hole was and that it was of some sort of performance advantage. The hole in the top of the master cylinder was so that, you know, some brake setups run a little aluminium bracket for you to put your brake reservoir on, and the aluminium bracket mounts into the top of the master cylinder rather than fixing to the top of the yoke. That's what the hole was. That's what that hole, this 6 mil hole in the top of the master cylinder, that's what the hole in question was about. But it unravelled into being so much more to create the investigation that created the
Okay, if that's what the hole was for, to make the reservoir element.
But it's still a standard part, though, I believe.
It's still a standard part, but...
And the piston inside was the same size as... The argument is it's not a homologated part, but...
Why is it not?
No. Let's talk about, you're talking about education. This is a good opportunity to educate. Like, so... How could people perceive it? Like, so what could you, as a cheating element, not this one, as a cheating element, what could you do to a master cylinder that make it?
When you buy a Honda CBR 1000 RR SP1 or whatever that's the exact name of that, when you buy that bike, it should come with a front master cylinder, brake setup without a hole in it, apparently.
Okay.
However, Dan and his team were able to find images of Marc Marquez riding the Honda with the hole in the master cylinder.
Okay.
There were brochures with pictures of a Honda with a hole in it, with that same hole in it.
Maybe it just was on a different year one or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So all of these, I don't fully understand the decision, because apparently there was a report done by Brembo, an independent report was done where the brake, the master cylinder was stripped down, measured, inspected, and it was confirmed that it is exactly the same bore and diameter.
Apologies on that. Massively dropped the ball there. Didn't put the new batteries in. The budgets are tight. But we were talking about... Well, I'm looking at you blankly here.
Yeah, we were saying that the master cylinder in question had been stripped down and been inspected, and was confirmed that it was exactly the same as any other of the master cylinders that was deemed to be the correct one.
Yeah.
So there was no performance advantage and all the rest of it. To be honest with you, I don't want to go any deeper into it.
But at the moment,
you just think,
it's been announced. You know, my last question on this subject is: could that be recontested, or is that official? Drawn a line? Because it was named.
I don't know. Because Dan. The honest answer,
this is the speculation element.
I'm not aware. I mean, there will have, I'm sure, happened. But I'm not aware of any technical infringements that have affected the championship after the championship. I'm sure it will have happened. Someone will know somewhere, but I can't remember in my lifetime. So it's a real strange one, and I feel for both people, because Richard Kerr wouldn't want to win a championship like that, and Dan certainly doesn't want to lose one like that.
Yeah.
My technical understanding of it is, don't know. Someone somewhere who's supposed to know has deemed it to be against the rules. It is, it sounds harsh, but it's just one of those really shitty situations, isn't it?
I think as well, what's sad is that team, Optimum Bikes team, that's it. Now they're going to fold. They're not going to go again.
Yeah,
so he's going to shutting up shop. And that's privately funded. Ian Wright from Optimum set the team up because he wanted to race in BSB, and that was one of his bucket list things. And Dan said that the two of them are business partners, and Dan said, I'll come in and I'll ride for you, and hopefully we can get a result, and it builds the profile of the team, and you can go on to bigger and better things. And they've decided that if they feel it was such an unjust decision, that they've decided that that's it for racing. Then you know what?
With this happened, the fact that it's happened now, you know what I mean? How do I put this? Will it tighten up the ship?
Yeah,
in everything.
I think they've potentially been made an example of.
Well,
You know, we're not going to
has
tolerate it. We're not going to tolerate if these are the rules, and if you don't abide to the fucking word, to the letter of the rules, then
I mean, what's frustrating?
Yeah, does that make it
after the season? Like, at the last round, like, it would have running them all year.
But this is the problem. This is when the kind of worms element again. You know what I mean? Like thinking, oh God, this and this and that, and it doesn't matter if you're from club level track day all the way up to MotoGP. There's always going to be that word. Cheat, chuck round. No, it is. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, they're doing aerodynamics and this and that, and like wing angles and shit. People are always going to pick at something. But using this,
the stock classes are different. They need to be held accountable. That is for certain.
Yeah,
it is. Like I say, I don't know, and I definitely don't want to get into the deal. But it's frustrating if they'd run it at other rounds and then they let it go through, and then it's like, oh.
Now we're going to pull you up on it, and not only pull you up on it, but strip you of your championship.
Yeah, but you've set a precedent by letting it go through the other rounds, haven't you? It's okay for it to be that round. I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, there was a big thing as well that Kerr had run different discs earlier on in the year for 4 rounds, and nothing happened with that.
So it becomes a cat fight, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's like fucking hell. So either BSB need to, and maybe this is what is needed. This is the catalyst to turn things to push a more stringent.
I think that
I don't know, but
policing
bear in mind we're picking on BSB, but that's to say exactly the same in roads. Yeah. Exactly, there's no policing, there's no nothing. You're talking about a lot of people investing a lot of money. Life is not fair.
Hang on, before you say that, because actually that's a. There is a lot of police in the PSB.
No, I'm not saying there isn't, but I'm saying the policing needs to be
clear.
Well, clear. I'm saying
clear and consistent. What you need
we have no policing. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but then look at the Northwest with the carbon wheel job for Hickey. The bike goes through scrutineering, and it's when it's on the grid that there's an issue. So you're thinking, well, you've scrutineered it. You're not all singing from the same hymn sheet here, and that's where shit starts to, in all walks of life, motorbikes,
communication,
government, or whatever. Yeah,
it is. Look, it's difficult. And
we're going to start our own government here. Fuck this.
Can you imagine? Just be carnage.
It is a real shame, like for everyone involved, really. And I definitely wouldn't want to be one of the people that has to make a decision. But what I would say is, generally, the people. There's the governing body, whatever they are, YMI or
MCY.
That's it. Like, they must have some reason to have done something.
Yeah.
As unjust as it might be.
Yeah.
I would hate for people to sit there and be like, "Oh, they've just picked on him." Like, that's not.
That's the.
He just unfortunately. I don't honestly think Dan or Dan Linsford's team went and bought different master cylinders.
No,
because they thought they were better. I think there's just been a bit of a...
There's a Brembo report to back that up. So, anyway, I think... Yeah. Let's... Oh, on the Honda thing...
Rules are rules.
A Honda thing. How many riders in Honda this year?
Yeah, that's probably... There's a couple of bits on BSB.
For TT and for BSB, I saw a picture the other day, so they've got Jack going into Supersport with them. They've got Nathan, Dean, and John for the roads.
Yeah.
And then they've got Andy and Tommy for BSB.
And then 7 riders.
And also they've got Franco Bourne on. Now is he full Superbike?
He's not. It's not.
No. But he's no Honda. Like, so he did ride for Honda,
yeah.
But then they've taken him under his wing, so there is Honda support for Franco, which is brilliant.
But I mean, in the official Honda colours,
but even so, there's 6. There's 6. Then
7 of them. Yeah.
Hold on, 7 official.
There's 3. There's 3 for on us.
3 for road. It's 7 including Franco, but Franco was under the banner of Honda, which is good, because we need Northeast hopes. We need Northeast hopes.
Yeah, I think it's more good. Like, it's great that they're they want to be involved with Franco still, but it's good for that team, really.
Yeah,
the team are going to get some help, and they'll probably get access to data or something.
I think arguably, out of all of that, the thing is, there's a lot of chiefs in the tribe.
Yeah.
And each rider feels like a chief, don't it? No, but you think arguably, from the outside looking in, Franco's team, it's his right bunch of people around him.
Exactly. I was just going to say that you might find he outperforms what he did on the factory Honda.
Yeah.
Because because he's probably just a bit more settled and there's less pressure. Like, absolutely, he couldn't have done anything other but to take that Honda ride, and he didn't disgrace himself. I don't think.
Well, he did that. Remember the Silverstone win at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Everyone went nuts over
Kicked
that.
the saloon doors in there, didn't he? Just fucking firing shots off in the air. Yeah,
No,
it's factory, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, but like Chrissy's a big fan of him. You know what I mean? And like a big fan of him. And it's like
he can ride a motorbike for certain.
100%.
But yeah, I don't.
Honda are stretched. From the outside looking in, hey? Outside looking in?
I can't agree with that. Sorry. I've heard so many people say, ooh, disaster waiting to happen. This is fucking Honda.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Like, I did not say that.
I never said you did.
I don't agree with that then. But
You two are going to
I'm
put your
saying the word.
tampons in and start fucking decorating. Jesus Christ. You've been on fucking Loose Women.
Yeah, get yours out and enjoy the practice.
No, like, I just think
I'm going to turn Joe down.
Just mute that fucking Yorkshire over there. Yeah, I think Honda wouldn't do it if they couldn't do it. This is Honda you're talking about at the end of the day. They don't have any big title sponsors. It's all Honda. They've basically signed a potential winner for every category they're entering. In my opinion,
I agree with that, and I think with the new 600 coming back in as well, they're obviously wanting to make a bit of a statement there and putting Jack on it. Do you know what it
is actually? I look at it and like lots of people's reactions online are like, "Ooh, too much, took on too much." Yeah, it's a lot of work, but they're not stupid. I look at it and think, "Holy fuck."
Yeah.
There's something we don't know here, because they've just signed Jack Kennedy, most successful British supersport rider of all time.
Yeah.
Going to do that. He's going to be up the front. Like, there's actually British supersport is looking as competitive as it ever has for a long time. New rules making it better.
They aren't going to put out a load of shit, are they?
No.
When it's Honda, because this is Honda. This is clean cut. If they can't provide a professional, well-oiled machine that's all structured, they wouldn't have done. I don't think they would do it.
No, I agree with that statement, but I'm still going to use the word stretched. You know what I mean?
I think they've got a lot on.
It's going to work.
They've got a lot on.
It's a lot of, like, I'm just thinking that is a lot.
They'll be busy.
No, we're talking about, the odd beginning of this conversation was like, oh, well, they've run a third bike. Honda have got
I'll run 6.
seven yet again, including that. That's like 7.
I just think,
but they must have the resources to do it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it, would they? So
you got to remember as well. Like, I mean, I don't know if this is a factor or not. Like, genuinely don't know this, but it had occurred to me the other day: if PBM aren't going to run, there's a 2-man squad sat there who are going to need jobs.
Yeah.
If I was Honda, I'd be like,
boys,
it's happening. I would like just saying it. I don't know, but listen, they'll staff it, they'll do it, whatever.
Let's hope PBM are on the grid.
I would really love to see that. I would, but you've got someone who can win in Superbike. Andy Irwin can win Superbike races. He's just had a bit of a shit run because of injury and whatnot. And I think, do you know what? I'm actually excited to see Dean Harrison.
I am.
On something different, out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
I think the Honda's a better bike than the Kawasaki as well, in all areas.
I don't think there was another second in that Kawasaki. Dean rode that thing.
No, on the roads. Agree.
Yeah, on the road.
But on the roads. But like, I actually think his results in BSB were pretty good. When you look at his short circuit history,
fantastic.
They're very good. And when he jumped on the Supersport bike, he was in top 6.
No, he's ridden really well this year. But I mean, for the roads, and let's be honest, I think that is probably his focus.
That's where he started.
Do we know? Do we know what Honda's plan is for what they're going to run at the? So is Honda going to run Superbikes, Superstock, and Supersport at the TT?
I don't know about Supersport job, because they obviously didn't want to do it last year. But if there's a bike there now, and they're going to have the resources to do it,
I would be shocked. I would be genuinely shocked if Dean Harrison's not on a Supersport.
Well, I know that John's very vocal about needing to be on a Supersport bike. He's always been very vocal about it.
And to be honest with you,
I think as a class, the Supersport class has gone from being considered to be not less important, but like it's. Racing follows the production bike market.
Yeah.
And the generally 600s went, big bikes went, and actually what we're seeing now is new generation super sporters filling the void.
It's class, isn't it?
Yeah, like I honestly think in the next 5 years, the super bike class will have to look dramatically different.
Yeah.
Because who's building 1 litre sports bikes?
Yeah.
And most of the big capacity bikes on the road now are like above 1 litre, 12, 1300s, and they're like adventure bikes. So we could have a super bike class of baggers, essentially. I'm not saying that's the case, but
I don't like
middleweight classes, I think, is probably, if you look at the data, like it's probably the most emerging class out there for manufacturers at the minute. I could see it being. I think this year is exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I tell you, like, even I'm going to dip it back into the roads here for a second because I know it hasn't been announced yet, but there is going to be big changes at the Northwest 200. I've heard that from not the rumour mill, a very, very, very good source. So I'm excited about that. But also,
You mean from a rules perspective?
rules
or
perspective,
an event perspective?
rules perspective, and everything like that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that happen. And there's also a lot of people changing in the Evo element within the TT. The TT element. There's going to be a lot of fast
What
lads
do you mean?
changing bikes.
Evil? What, like?
Super Sport, the Super Sport Evo class, you're talking about
You mean the new generation?
the new
Super Sport
generation.
stuff?
Sorry, Alan. So I made up a title there.
I thought you meant Pathway Superbike, actually, is what I thought you meant.
No. So in regards to rules, there is some seriously fast lads who are changing flavours.
right.
And you're thinking, this is going to be good.
Cool.
This is going to be good. You know what I mean? So like you're saying, that is a very good, clear, like, foresight into that. It's the fact of, like, people are almost going, well, superbikes have done their thing.
Yeah.
Let's take a run up yet again. And have a look at
It's good to see the TT and stuff following some of the other. It's got to follow the short circuit racing because it makes it more accessible for teams to run other not just riders, but for teams to put bikes out there for good riders to get on. You know yourself, there's. With the greatest respect in the world, there's 3 riders at the TT that top teams want to sign, right? It's Dean Harrison.
Yeah.
With the greatest respect, right?
Yeah.
If you want to win if I'm a team and I want to win a TT, you've got a choice of 3.
Yeah.
Dunlop, Hickey, and
Joe.
And Michael, yeah.
and Lauren on the Grom. and Harrison, right? Fair play. They're signed up by the teams. So actually, there's not a wild variety of teams under that are like. I know there's Tycho and Tycho Tass and a few others down all the rest of it, but they're not even going to the TT, are they? From what I hear.
Dow out.
So they're just not there.
That is actually mind blowing.
But this goes back to that conversation that we've had.
Connor Cummins is looking for a job.
Yeah.
Connor Cummins is looking for a job. Padgett's.
Yeah.
Not running, are they not?
Well, there's a big question mark up here. Davey's buggered off. Connor's looking for a job.
I think Hutchie will be on that.
Yeah.
I've seen him on
He's been out testing.
He was on a track day, in Almeria.
He's got a hell of a history with Padgett's. That might just be, go on, let's go for a ride, or is that something in the air?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is interesting. I don't know
but Connor Cummins is a podium he can win.
Yeah,
and that's a beautiful. No, but that's the thing about the TT.
Yeah.
Is Connor Cummins is just the bridesmaid, and I think he's just getting fucked off for being the bridesmaid. And you're thinking just one little hiccup.
He was unlucky this year, wasn't he? He was crook. He was poorly.
Yeah,
he's a bit filthy with me. Because do you know when we did the who's hot and who's not?
Yeah.
And I'd said that for me the TT, Connor was the not hot, but I didn't mean it as Connor. Like, just nothing worked out. He just had a shit week from
being
bad
hot
luck.
Flu.
But then went out in the senior and did 133 mile an hour. It's obviously come across wrong because that's not how I meant it. But that's how he'd read what I'd said. But as you say, Connor can get on a bike tomorrow and he'll do 133, 134 mile an hour poorly. Rip a drip out of his arm and go and do that.
Even when we're saying about them 3, listen, I don't know what it takes to go around this, so I can't comment. But when I say those 3, arguably, I mean them 3 were in a class of arrest. Unfortunately, they were. And my point about the rules being followed or similar is that actually might mean that some BSB teams who have a desire to do it can now do it, and other teams within the British paddock who might think, I want to go and put them on. But just,
and let's be honest, the TT organisers are going to encourage that because it looks better for the sport. It looks better in the paddock. It brings more money and it looks the part, doesn't it? And the more class riders you bring in, the better the sport's going to be.
And on that subject, actually, I think one of the most exciting things for BSB this year is the sports bike class. And that's essentially going to be what's already at the TT, like, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what?
Certainly a variation of it.
Can I ask a question? Has anyone seen the regs yet for sports bike class?
No.
I've been like told some things.
You see, no, but this is the thing.
I think there is some regulations out for it, but I haven't seen it.
Some regulations. You know what I mean? This like
no, I think the BSB regs are out. It must be out by now.
Well, this is the thing.
My understanding is they're capped at 95 or
97, but you've got to go to approve engine builder.
Yeah,
there's
that's
like
good.
No, which is good. No. I'm not saying any of this in a negative
they're
manner.
capable of way more. They're capable of over 100.
100%. You've got to cap it. You've got to police it. You've got to do everything in that regard. But in the same breath, to attract people, it's a bit. For example, the F900.
Yeah,
that was very, very. Mind a few little details, like sorting it, like, you know, what was it, like teething problems. That's in any championship at any point.
Yeah.
But up to that point, it was like, there's a 12 grand bike. These are your rules. You can't do this. It's built from a manufacturer. But this, you're talking about different manufacturers. There's a lot of things in here, and to be blunt, I haven't seen an outright price tag.
No, but I don't think it's about price tag.
No. But if you're trying to attract people into a thing, it's a bit like, well, hold on, what's the price tag here?
No, but I think the bikes are what they are.
Joe's itching here.
No, I'm just taking it all in as a viewer.
The bikes are. I mean, I've ridden one of what will be one of the front running R7s, and I know I'm not going to say who it is, but I know for a fact there's a proper doer riding it as well. And I rode at Donington. Kev Stevenson, Rev to Races R7 that he's built. He's going to be like the main.
He's kind of
the official Yamaha. As far as I understand, he's like the main Yamaha, and he's worked for what was the McCams team for years. He's been involved with Yamaha, and his son races one. He built one, which is the one I rode at Donington, and a few of the lads rode it. Was over the horsepower cap. It was over 100, I think. But it'll be obviously less. But they've got different yokes. They've got different link. They've got different. They've got all on Mechtronic. So it was like riding it on. It was fucking better than any super sport bike I've ever ridden.
We're not arguing that. The bikes are good, but it's a bit like, now, please, if you listen to this or watching this on YouTube, and I am wrong, which is regular, please put it underneath, because I'll quite happily click on it and read the regs. But at the moment,
here's a question for you then. What benefit do you see that class bringing the championship over a stock 600 class?
I'll tell you exactly the biggest thing for me is you are going to get some well experienced riders. Think about 125s in 2009.
Yeah.
And you had like doers and gonna be doers coming up, learning from these lads. You've never had that since 125 racing stopped and the age limited it for the right reason, because it was getting ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Since it did that, you've never had it. And it shows now, I think, when you see the etiquette of some of the riders coming through, and just how to go about certain things and their attitudes with teams and stuff like that as well, being brutally honest. I think that sports bike class will bring that, because there is
no age cap on it.
No, and a stock 600. So you ride a stock 600, there's like not a lot you can really do to it. Yeah, they've got quick shifters on them. They don't have... you can't change engine brake and all of that stuff. You will be learning how to do all of that stuff on a lightweight bike, and then when you get on a super sport bike, you'd be so much more educated. I think it'll be really, really good. And for young riders, it's fantastic. But for old riders, you know, we used to talk about like 250 Grand Prix, in 125 Grand Prix. People built careers off riding little bikes.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it's a crying shame we don't have it. And actually, I was very, very close to getting on a R7 this year. It hasn't happened because of budget. But I would, if I could make that happen, I would be there 100%. It is a fantastic class, and I would love to be racing in it.
That is the most sensible, well put answer that you've ever given me. Well done.
With that coach in a future in politics, I'm telling you now.
No, just fair point. Fair point on all of it.
I'll send you the videos that like the things just fucking. I was blown away at how. I mean, it's been a few years since I rode a super sport bike, but the fucking thing was beautiful.
Do you know all I hope is that it's the regulations are written in a way where we can see multiple manufacturers battling, because
I don't worry about that. I honestly think they'll do that.
I hope they do, because I think as a spectacle, it's always nice.
No. Right. This is a good thing about Lauren sitting in on the show is we have the regulations, and that's why I apologise for the last 10 minutes there of having a rant. But there's still not a price cap on it.
But there's need to be a price cap.
No. But I'm just talking about, you know, it's. I'm comparing it in one instance against the F900, but
Yeah.
you can compare against that against Superbike, and you can compare
There's
that
always
against
going
Superbike.
to be that risk in there.
course
That
there
somebody's going to come
But-
smoking in there who's used to run a Superbike team 5 years ago, come out of the woodwork and say, "We'll have a do at that," and they chuck a shitload of money into it and then
but
move the
how is
goalpost.
the
It's
money-
always going to happen
The bike's got to have 96 horsepower.
because they'll just have the resources for everything, won't they?
Yeah, but you could. There's not a class in the country that's price capped from a personnel and resource
Fair point.
perspective.
No.
Fair point.
There's nothing you could spend to make that bike more competitive than someone else's, in my opinion, if it has a horsepower cap.
Yeah.
That's
like
the
it.
beauty about the new gen super sport stuff. You're saying, okay, so we're not building 600s anymore. So actually, what do we really need? Well, you can ride any bike that is in and around 150 horsepower. We need a class of 150 horsepower motorcycles.
Yeah.
Which is what they've done.
Yeah.
And
Capped it.
Scott Smart is, and my understanding is Scott Smart is the man behind.
He's a technical guy.
He's basically spearheaded getting them rules right.
Perfectly named.
And he fucking has, hasn't he? People could.
Perfectly named for the job.
Yeah.
Scott Smart.
Yeah.
I can see big things.
But even, people argue that Ducati's a lot quicker and all the rest of it. And it is. But at the end of the day, it's still got sim horsepower as. Look, it's great. There'll always be someone who goes, "That's too quick. That's this.
Yeah.
That's that." And I know why. It's because when the fucking thing's driving away from you, you want it to be the bike and not you.
Yeah.
When someone's pulling away from you, you're looking for it to be that reason, aren't you? But
no, like it's
that will be a mint class.
Just on the TT point as well, not to jump about too much, but Tom Birchall's announced his retirement, hasn't he, from the TT now as a sidecar passenger with his brother, and massive respect. Yeah. Done a lot, achieved amazing things, and
most successful passenger in TT history.
Yeah.
But his brother's continuing, I believe.
Yeah.
So
I bet that was an awkward conversation.
Imagine that on Christmas. How was your summer?
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
But I think that there comes a time, doesn't there? There was probably a few points last year where he just thought, do I fucking want to do this again? Probably not. He's got other things, and
it can always go back. Everyone kind of labels it off. You retire, you scub, you underline. You may want to, you may not want to.
Yeah.
Don't know. We were talking about that at the beginning of the episode. At what point does it become too stressful or anything in that regard? He may just want to go down a different path. But I feel like I'm sending a message to, Tom, like, you can come back anytime you want, son.
Well, he's stepping out at the top of his game, isn't he?
Yeah.
And fair play to him, and I think from all of us as spectators and fans as well, thank you for your years of commitment to the job, because it's ace to see. Yeah,
there's such a vital part of the GT.
But the winners and the lap record holders, the history that they hold is phenomenal, and that is a big dent in sidecar racing.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there any? I think fair to say we've boxed off BSB there from us.
I think we've been efficient with that. What do you reckon?
I know that was quite good. That
not bad for three morons.
And what is there?
If the Flaker was here, it would have been a lot.
Is there any more TT news while we're on the topic?
No.
Well, the TT's entries open like a month earlier than normal. Can you stop moving my mic here?
No,
can you just stop? Just put your hands down, you silly fucker. Right. Anyway, so. The TT entry shut at the end of January, which is dead early. So they're just moving the goalpost like all the time. And you think, as far as an event, it's definitely an event that they don't sit on their hands. Far from it. But they've got the classic TT.
Do you mean moving the goalposts in to improve
in a positive manner? They're constantly on the ball. For an event that's 2 weeks out of the year. Isn't for them? It's a full year investment.
Gary, when he didn't understand how much of a full-time job it was, but it literally is a 365.
But they're even trying to push the Manx Grand Prix. Really trying. They're bringing in extra classes on that side of things.
Yeah,
they're moving the goalposts. Because they brought in the S-Rads. And classic racing, even the goalposts have to move within that. They might even bring in the R1.
They've got to do, haven't they? They've got to move the age limit. Needs to move with the times, doesn't it?
Of course it does. Which is exciting when you think people can pull out.
What is the age limit?
Oh shit, 92. Yeah. What? No, 90, 93. For superbike, classic superbikes, but then you got the pre-70s stuff. But then they're bringing back the 350 race.
Are they?
the junior race, which is
the proper classic bike.
Well, it's so you got the senior, the 500s with like John on the pattern, and then you got the Yamahas and the Manx. Like, so you got Manx and the Dean won on, and
did you win a 350 or a 250 race?
350, 350 race. But the mad thing, no. But as far as that race is concerned, now I'm talking about the world I grew up in at the Manx Grand Prix. Everyone who goes racing over there takes two bikes, a 500 and a 350. When they go CRMC racing, they go to any club racing in Northern Ireland, in England, everywhere, Scotland, you name it, they take two bikes.
Yeah.
Now, the biggest finish and the closest finish is on 350s.
Why?
Why? Because the bikes are reliable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think there's only, on Honda K4s, there's only 5 of us who have only done over 104 mile an hour on a bike that's 41 brake horsepower. That's, mate, it's just, I think it's me.
Couldn't pull a wet noodle out of a cat's ass, could it? That. Hey? I like that one. I saw that one the other day. I thought
someone from the RSPC is going to be on that. How did you measure that?
No, but like 40, 50 brake horsepower on like 120 tyres. You know what I mean? The bicycle tyres, for God's sake. Right. On like Avon's a stop. There's another tyre manufacturer that's gone. That's another thing about the TD. Are Dunlop going to come back in a serious fashion? We don't know. Metzler being the official tyre supplier.
Finish the classic stuff before we talk about tyres.
No, but we're talking about Avon. But then, you see, Avon have made that classic. Avon have developed sidecars. Now, bearing in mind, last TD, they actually had, Manx Grand Prix this year, they had special demo tests for the sidecars on these American version tyres. Right. So lap records are going to change.
So what's happening? Because I'm going to be riding some classic bikes this year, and you were telling us about these tyre things. My head rolled off when you said about it. Oh, so the tyre of choice for it's a 500 that I'll be. Yeah, the Lansdowne series. It's not done and dusted yet, but I'm going to be doing some of the Lansdowne series, if not all of it. And they run on Avons.
So the Continental mark have come in the radial. So like the Avon's more of like a box section square tyre. So when you actually fold onto the side of the tyre, so when you go for a lean angle, there's actually a bit of a ridge in the tyre. You know, it goes from like positive, and it like steps off. But the grip is phenomenal. I mean, with a set of Avons,
so they're the good tyres that people want to run.
Yeah, because they've been developed. It's like we were talking about, like if they're developing a tyre for a sport,
what's happening to them?
Avon has ceased manufacturing.
Across
That's
the board.
Avon has stopped. The sidecars, everything.
Right,
Avon, British company,
understand.
Gone down the share.
Oh, so, what, for financial reasons, or just retirement, or whatever?
But Stephen Smith, who's a hell of a lad, we actually need to have a proper chat with him on that side of things. But I think it is down the money. But Avon, they had Daniel Cooper testing at the TT and Super Twins. They've always dipped in and out, but they've held TT lap records.
Well, they were the sidecar tyre, the only option.
You were just getting laughed at. You were begging for hospital if you didn't go out on a set of Avons.
What are the classic bikes going to be moving to? You were telling us.
They've got the Continentals.
Contis, that was it.
So Continentals are starting to step up.
I did get told all this information.
But do you know what? There's no use letting your head roll off because everyone's in the same boat, aren't they? They're all going to have to do the same thing.
Oh no, I didn't mean roll off as in. I just was like, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about, sort of thing. Yeah. But no, it'll be good. I'm quite excited. Not listening to you tell us that the tyres square, that has put us off.
So. I've done about classic bikes. And
the Avons are phenomenal. Yeah. Like bearing in mind, like Croft, for example. Yeah. That's the best thing about classic racing. You get one set of tyres, that's it for the year. Wet, dry.
No tyre warmers, no wets.
Nothing.
No
tyre warmers. You go on. I shit you not. Turn one, Croft off the start line in the pissing rain. I'm on my knee.
Yeah. So they're good bike.
Mate, they're just go.
What are you on the topic of classic stuff then? Before we move on, are you going to be doing it's not called the classic. What's it called now? Sorry. The Manx Grand Prix.
Yeah, so the Manx were before the classic was only for a few years.
Right,
it's a bit of it. Like,
so it's part of the Manx Grand Prix event.
So the Manx Grand Prix's got over 100 years history. It was a centenary last year. So it's a hell of an event. But as far as next year is concerned, the Davies Motorsport team, so I got a phone call from John saying they've called it a day.
Have they?
Called it a day.
Wow.
So, they've
another big outfit to
that's it.
To pull out the job. Yeah.
So they've told me they've so John was on the phone. Thank you very much for everything that you've done. They've pulled the pin on that side of things. So I am very much available for classic. We've had some great memories, and I really appreciate
Manx as well.
No, but like
that's 3 of us.
No, but as far as John and the Davies, we've had some good memories. We've like set that records at every short circuit going. And
I wish I'd had a thing.
I'm having a moment here.
Sorry, that was so funny. I couldn't think of anything else. Do you know, like on X Factor, where they have the things come up on the bottom of the screen and they'd be like, to vote for Joe, press this number and 01 at the end.
You keep interrupting, I'm going to get your fucking number cancelled.
Did you get your win with Davies? Was that?
I gave them their first win, yeah.
Yeah.
So they've ran like William Dunlop, Lee Johnson.
Yeah.
It's like
they've been around. They've been around a while, haven't they?
So
are they the lads that you were when I seen you this year at the TT, the pre-TT race? They're fucking mint looking things.
No. So we developed the Yamaha together and everything like that. So they.
And what's the reason? He's had enough. Enough.
So it's the rough year. The bike nearly killed Michael Rutter. So I tell you what, Matt, when the Bob Henderson bike, the oil pipe popped off, and high side me into the moon. Now Lauren, who's sitting here, the mad thing is, I wasn't even in the hospital, and they swapped the fairings on the Yamaha, right? And put Michael Rutter on the bike.
Really?
But, mate, when something's written in the stars, because it came up to the top of the bungalow and the engine's locked solid on Rutter, and he just missed a metal post by that. And you just think that weekend I was destined to come off. You just think, in the same breath, you're lying in hospital going.
That's the downside to the classic bike job, is that
they're old.
Although they're not fast, people think, oh, well, it's not that dangerous because the speed isn't there. But the danger with them is they're old motorbikes and they shit themselves for no explicable reason.
Especially when they're like such small capacity, you know what I mean? But no, I am good. We've had some right memories.
You rode their modern. They ran you on a modern bike as well, though, didn't they? They rode you
through the Belgrave lads bought the bike, and unfortunately, it didn't. That it was a difficult year on that side. So,
but the point is, they've been around a while, and it's another well-established team within there.
Of course, the history that you've got, with William Dunlop, you know what I mean? William bloody Dunlop, Lee Johnson, they've had some great memories.
It's sad, really, because they're like. It's proper engineering that. Like, it's when you look at them, you don't just buy a bolt for it. Like, they have to make shit, don't they?
100%. But you see, this is the thing we're talking about. They may come back. You never know. They've rang up and said they've had a difficult year, but they may just go. Let's try something different.
A bit of love for the job.
Yeah, that's it.
As long as they haven't flogged the bikes, they'll be sat in the warehouse in the stables ready to go, aren't they?
That's it. So no, we've had some good laughs, but unfortunately, John's rang us up and said we're gonna. And I'm calling it a day. That's what John said to me.
You're on the.
I'm available.
You need something for that. Fair play. And then can we talk about? Well, we're talking about the TT. So before we move on, can you? I've said that 4 times now. Sorry.
Can we move on?
Can we talk about what you're going to do?
For Josh,
can we talk about what you're going to do or not?
Well, I'm still working on everything at the minute, so it's just, mate, let's get through this year, which is kind of over. I hate this time traveling thing with the podcast; it does me head in. So we just need to get over that on the line. But the one thing on the what do you call it, the keyboard warrior list, and it's very vital that we get this in, is the future of like Top Rack on the BMW and Jonathan Ray hitting the Yamaha.
Oh, we've got so Dom just skirted that question. We're going to World Superbikes now.
He did give an answer. He said he isn't sorted yet.
Did I give an answer?
He said I'm not sorted yet. I'll give him that one.
I'm just in a wind Dom up mood, man. Leave us alone.
He's going to climb over that table.
He's getting angry.
And all we'll see is the tail
I'm telling you,
hanging out your mouth.
You know that noodle he was talking about the cat's ass?
I'm just trying to get a bit of.
Moving from classic bikes to the other end of the spectrum.
World Superbikes.
Yeah.
So we're going to see Jonathan Ray on a Yamaha. Which
have you watched his vlogs?
Vlogs?
His vlogs?
No, I haven't.
From the Pereth test. It just meant just look. His vlogs are good anyway. But
is he going to do it?
Do you know what I get excited about? Is seeing all those guys in different colours on different bikes.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Fucking, for me, that's like a kid at Christmas. Just to see Jonathan Ray not in green and in something different. I'm yipping it up just to see that. I think
is Bautista re-signed for Ducati?
Yeah.
I think so.
And I think, I might be talking shit, but I think they are putting in another RPM limit on that Ducati to try and just rein it in a little bit. That might be complete bollocks, and I'm sure there's someone that'll pull me up on it if it's wrong. But I do kind of think it's maybe needed just to keep it exciting at the front, because that Ducati is so much quicker when it gets into stretching its legs.
But it brings its own problems as well. I mean, like, I appreciate the BSB rules are different, but when you look at the BSB rules of how fast it is, like, it creates like, I know that's faster than that, but the Yamaha, for example, but it brings its own issues, doesn't it? Like having a load more power can create its own.
But I think it'll be interesting as well, seeing what we know. Yamaha haven't really changed anything for next year. I'm sure there's plenty going on behind the scenes, but have they? Or am I talking shit on that?
I don't know, but
sometimes just a fresh approach to things is what's needed, and somebody who thinks differently. And we've seen with BMW, they've got Bradley Smith has now become one of their test riders.
Yeah, that's cool.
That Frenchman, Gintoli.
Sylvain Gintoli's moved from the CERT team in World Endurance Suzuki team. He was a Suzuki test rider in the MotoGP. He's been a Suzuki, and he's BMW moving across to BMW. I think that's been announced.
Yes, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
So with that, you've got to think that BMW are not stepping up. It's not the right word, but they're
committed.
They're bringing a completely new spin on it, and to have Bradley's knowledge of what he did with the Aprilia in MotoGP, as a test rider there, and then he's moving across into. And I've had the pleasure of working with Bradley in a test riding facility, and you watch the guy work, and he's from Grand Prix. So when we see him getting involved with that BMW gig, I think that's going to put between Toprak, Gintoli and Bradley. I think that's a very, very strong mix of people that I think we could see more from BMW.
Can they beat the Ducati?
I think they can.
I
hope so. Now, hold on. Now, bear in mind, we've got a curveball here. The other Lowe's lad.
I was going to move on, yeah.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I was just about...
Sam moving across from Moto, Mark VDS sticking with him. That must be one hell of a nice feeling, that, to be that comfortable with your team manager and your team, that you go, guys,
can we do that?
I mean, do you know what? This Moto2 thing's, I'm fucking over it now, but can I go race with my brother in World Superbikes? Yeah, we'll go do that. And he puts a team under him for that. What bike do you want to do? Ducati seems to be doing all right. Yeah, well, I think that's brilliant.
Seeing the videos of him, it looked very good on I know it was early days testing and stuff, but the Johnny Ray, like, I'm excited to see him do that. I think there's some good doers in World Superbike again this year. Bit of a shake up with teams, but the Johnny Ray's vlog was really, really interesting. Good insight into like what they go through and whatnot. Like first, like being with a new team, but he put an onboard video, like an in-camera video, and he goes at the pit lane by turn two. He's like at 100%.
Really?
That's class.
It was mint. You should, if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's so good. And
I think it's fascinating for them boys as well, that each of those bikes, you guys know this from riding. Each bike requires a specific discipline because of the strength of the bike, doesn't it?
Yes.
I keep banging my head on this fucking tin. And
the sponsor Joe.
Sorry.
You apologise.
Sorry.
Sorry, Alan.
Without you, I'm nothing. Sorry. I've got a concussion now. And you think how long Johnny's been on that Kawasaki, and he's going to have to go and ride that Yamaha completely differently.
Yeah.
And the same from Toprak on the Yamaha moving across to BMW. He's now got to, maybe the discipline isn't the right way, but the strengths of that bikes, they're all in different places, aren't they? So if that Rottweiler gets in here and has my leg off,
it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. You keep working.
Send the video in. Get 250 quid. So I think it'll be mega. I'm excited about that.
Definitely,
I'm excited. I think it'll
be... with Toprak on the Beamer as well. Some footage of him on in Portimao.
Well, he's already said, hasn't he?
I tell you what,
we're not far off.
No.
But he's not going to say, well, that was a shit out. Nothing went well. I didn't enjoy myself.
I think he would, though.
But it looked good. Like, I know you can't tell. I don't know what lap times were, but there's a video of him doing... We've all been on a no limits track day, right? They know there's no fucking about, there's no wheelies, there's no messing about. They are on a no limits track day, like before another test, and he does a massive stoppie all the way down the pit lane, and he's like, "Rrr," and then as he lands, you just, in the video, you just see this woman with a no limits top on, steaming over her, and I'm like, He's going to get a bollocking for that. I love it. I thought it was fucking excellent. It was so funny.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Who do you think you are? Bloody top rack. Oh.
But he's humble enough, he'll just take his bollocking and apologise.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't realise.
Yeah, it was so funny. I just thought, I've been on the receiving end of them bollockins for messing about on the track day.
Did you like seeing that Ducati in yellow, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did. I had a few people that said, oh, it was supposed to be red, this, that and the other. I've got a yellow Ducati. Yellow Ducatis are mega.
Yeah, I think it's just
fucking brilliant.
Definitely agree.
Yeah,
I
think they
we look good all in that. The Mark VDS colours will look mint as well.
Oh,
Can't wait to see one of that.
Yet again, proving that test bikes are sometimes better looking than the actual bikes.
Oh, I agree.
Loved it.
But don't you think I like the livery thing between World Superbikes and Grand Prix? The livery, the way it looks to your eyes is completely different from the two championships.
Yeah, it's because of the way the bikes look like spaceships now, don't they?
Yeah, no, yeah, but even just like the colours and the way they brand them, I think in MotoGP they're just, or particularly Moto2, I just think they look better. I like all the different colours.
Moto2s are a bit old school, aren't they? Do you like the yellow number boards and stuff?
Yeah, I just think they're cool, and I think it'd be nice to sort of get that Mark VDS team will have a hint of the Moto2 GP kind of liveries that then go into the more boring corporate World Superbike stuff. I think that would be cool to see as well.
No,
and it'd be good to see Sam Lowe's up there. Sam and Alex.
I think he'll be top 3. He'll be fast. He'll be top 3 without a doubt.
Do you? What, straight off the bat?
Yeah, top 5 straight away. Top 3 within a couple of rounds, I would have said. That's not putting anybody else down. Just he's world champion material. Well, he's a world champion.
Yeah.
You forget that he's going back to his stomping ground, isn't he?
Now, is that going back to World Superbikes, or is it a side step?
in terms of
take that pattern.
No. In terms of going back to the championship, like World Superbike was where he got his teeth, wasn't it? In World Supersport, and then he went off to Grand Prix, and I just mean he's sort of back in that environment.
Yeah.
No, it's not backwards. I don't think it's a backward step at all. Depends who you ask.
And we should touch on MotoGP.
I was about to say we're kind of nicely working through the 2023 ranking here, and let's cap it off before we move on to the Patreon questions.
Yeah. Well, I made notes before, and the only thing I wrote down was Marquez to Grassini, because that's about the biggest and only thing to talk about, isn't it? Really, I think.
But the satellite teams now can win MotoGPs.
But do you know what's funny? I want to be the first one to do it. I actually wanted Bagnaia to win this year, just because I want Marquez to be the first satellite team to ever win one.
Right, rather than Martin win on the Pramac.
And I like Martin. I thought he was good, and he deserved to be a champion as well.
It was a tyre that let him down, wasn't it?
I can't remember now.
That's basically what was
said.
Yeah.
He, I just think, so is it TNT that own all the rights of it now? Is it?
Yeah.
So their subscription thing will have gone through the roof, because now we're going back to having to watch every single MotoGP practice session, because Marquez will have his helmet down.
Well, they won't be getting 55 quid of my finest earned pounds. I can fucking assure you of that, paying to watch it.
But you're getting a legal stream. I'll hook it up, don't worry.
Dodgy box and shields.
Sick of paying for fucking subscription Disney Channel and fucking embarrassing.
You have kids, mate. Get over it.
But MotoGP is going to be...
Got myself into this mess.
It's always exciting, but I just feel like it's gone up a level again, isn't it? Again,
do you know what?
I feel like Marquez is back.
I didn't watch a lot of MotoGP this year.
Yeah,
I was sort of bored by it. I was just, I wasn't really interested. But I think this is something that is enough. Yeah, everyone's rubbished him, haven't they? Or a lot of people have rubbished him. He's past it. You know, the new young lads are here, and it's like, I don't.
What it does highlight though is like in so many of the other classes, like where he dominated and he would come from the back of the grid and stuff. Like what I think it really shows in MotoGP now is how important the bikes are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like he's such a talent and he can't ride round a shit bike.
Yeah. You see, like look at Casey Stoner. He's even quoting go back to full whiskey throttle. You know what I mean? Get rid of electronics in MotoGP. Imagine that.
They'd have to turn them down, wouldn't they? But I'm sure
I tell you what, imagine doing that. You know what I mean? Casey's right. You know what I mean? Let it slide. Then
to the moon.
I might watch it. I might pay. I might pay 55 quid for that.
You would though, wouldn't you?
Oh, I would for full gas, yeah.
You would. Of course, that's the thing.
But I want them to just come back on the aero job a little bit. All the squat,
it's getting a bit much,
I just feel like it's going a bit too much, and it's just my opinion. And they're like assholes, aren't they? We've all got one, but it just turns into a little bit into the F1 job of the manufacturer's race, and I want to see racing. don't necessarily. The reason I'm not interested in F1 is because it's pretty much determined from the first pre-season test. Whoever has the fastest car
is going to win.
Turns out they've got the engineers that have made all the right decisions. Not
they're a victim of their own success, aren't they? In that way, and I do think so. Do I agree that MotoGP should be the height of engineering when it comes to motorcycles? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I think that the direction that engineering's going in is starting to
get
make
ridiculous.
MotoGP lose its appeal?
Yeah. Well, it's lost its ability to be relatable because nobody needs a whole shot device or a squat device on the exit of a cotton. Like all of that stuff is
10 years ago. They used to control temperature on 125s with tape.
Yeah.
In MotoGP.
We had a bit of duct tape.
That was 10 years ago.
That was on the inside of the fairing, so if it ran too hot, there was a bit of string attached to the duct tape and you pulled the strip off, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it made it cooler. And that's where we're at.
And that was 10 years ago. In MotoGP, you'd have seen them ripping bits of tape off, right? Yeah. They don't necessarily do that anymore. But they still use tape on radiators. So I'm not saying they don't do that. But now we'll have to watch fucking Jack Miller fiddling with these buttons so that his arse falls on the floor when he comes out of turn. It's like, it's just a bit, I don't know. Like, I get it, and it's making them go quicker and all the rest of it. But I'd love to just see. I mean,
do you think the racing is any more exciting for that? Because
yes, but it's not.
Some of the most exciting motorbike races I've watched are from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And those bikes weren't a patch on it, but the racing, the spectacle of what you were watching was more exciting than what you see now in the manufacturer battles of he's got more wings than I have.
I do think they could simplify a little bit more a bit of simplicity would go a long way.
Yeah.
But it's such a fine line.
Like the Suzuki before they got rid of it. Remember how simple the Suzuki MotoGP
the Suzuki was,
you know what I mean?
And that sort of
won a world championship on it.
Yeah, that era kind of just don't go ridiculous. And that's what I mean.
No, but
but they still had wings.
That's when it was stupid.
They still had wings in these scoops, and I mean, you see them on road bike. Every road bike's got a wing now. You're not.
I love it. I love a wing.
I like all that, but to a degree. Like the BMW now is
more wings.
Looking a bit
more wings.
I don't mind the aero to an extent, but I just think you look at him now and you think,
well, the next thing will be active aero. I think
that
Aprilia have wings fin, like planes.
That Aprilia fin's nearly on the ground at maximum lean angle, isn't it?
Sealy at the front. Sealy can hit it off the curbs and the floor. Yeah. There's photos of him at Kyrgyzstan test when he was first riding Vitastra.
Yeah.
With no need out, just bang, there goes a fairing.
Yeah. That's because he's about 3 foot tall.
But even so, but but then you're talking about leverage on a bike. You know what I mean? It's like he has no leverage.
No.
He's a fling on a dog's arse on a motorcycle and he can turn it, you know what I mean?
I just, I think I do miss the days. I tell you what, like...
You are the oldest, youngest man in the world.
No, but I'm with him. I'm with you.
Like, if I could pick a year to live in forever, it would be 2009.
Wow.
Last year I've gone of like 250s at the height of their
1782 Pirates were rampant.
Just like I just follow,
I missed the 250 era.
To follow MotoGP around when like even Grand Prix bikes was such thing as a wing then, was there? Like I know there were 4 strokes and they were different, and I'm not just like 4 strokes, but I just the 2009 was like the one, like the M1 that Rossi rode then. It was like,
well, were they still the big engines? Were they still 900s? Were they 800s then?
I think they were 800s in 2009, weren't they?
I like the last year of the 900s.
990s.
Yeah, 990s when like because the Ducati
was that 2008 when they did that.
Yeah, I don't know. Had a lot of bangs to my head since then. Anyway, I think we've done a pretty good job of rounding the job off there.
I know, we're going to get told off by
from our boss. Yeah.
How long is it?
Mate, you don't want to know. This is the second take. You do not want to know. But I tell you what, as far as the Patreon list, naturally we always go through the questions. So I think it's only right that we read out some names. So thank you so much, Duncan, Harry Bell, Jason, Photostrada. We've got Luke. We have Thomas Clemens, Tony Rose. What a man, what a hero. Dean Webster. Oh my giddy aunt. Pull up your phone, start reading out some names, because Lars, is that we did this years ago, me and Chrissy, and we ended up saying some Irish bloke name totally wrong. It was funny as anything. But Lars
Christiansen,
nice,
Rob Pilliner, Andy, Glenn Morton,
Andy
Sticks,
H.
Maggie Day.
Oh right, actually,
Sticks has got a good question. If you could spend a race weekend as a guest in any team's rider's garage, any class next season, Who would it be and why? Well, like that. I'd love to spend the day with Travis Pastrana.
No, Grissini MotoGP with Marquez.
There you go.
Probably Jonathan Ray in the Yamaha squad.
Yeah,
I like it. That is a cracking question.
I just like Johnny Ray as well. I think he's cool.
Or at the Honda garage just to see
the chaos.
how under his arse they are.
PTSD off that. Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Wings plans for next year. We've talked about that. Thank you very much, Maggie. Thank you, Alex Spratt.
Harry Bell had the bucket list question. We've answered that really, but what a cracking question.
That is a good one, isn't it? That is a good one. Andy, good man, all the way from down south, Devon area. We've got Jim Travers twice over. Is Joe having another crack at the TT?
Why has he said that?
Right, he said endurance, but I'm asking TT.
All right, yeah.
I'm changing the question, Jim.
We ain't got anything finalised. So
would you go back?
Would I go back?
Yeah.
Is this world endurance or TT?
For what? For what? TT.
We know you'd go back to endurance. We know you would. TT.
Yeah, I probably would, yeah. But things would just have to be all in the right place and the right things going on. Yeah. And I don't honestly see that anybody's going to do that for me or give me that opportunity because...
New year, Joe.
Well, you know, but I'm realistic. I'm realistic as well.
Stop being realistic. You're depressing me. Let's talk about high hopes here.
Well, yeah, it's... Yeah, it's definitely, it's one of them things, and it's under your skin, it's in your skin, it's, yeah.
That's amazing.
Anyway, yeah. Go on.
You got a question?
Josh.
Is this off the Peter on list?
Luke.
Just straight Luke.
Question. Yeah, it just is Luke. Question for all the hosts. What is your favourite corner in the world?
End of the back straight at Paul Ricard, because it's fast. You go from 200 mile an hour, you go back 2 gears, and it's mega. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick a really crap one.
Melbourne Loop.
I'm going to say the last corner at Valencia, because it's just hard work, but fun, and you're like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this.
That left-hander up over the hill.
The left, and you're going round and round, and you're like, holy fuck, and then it goes downhill and you can't stop, and you're like, ah!
Or Rouge at Spa, that's special. That's special.
I don't like... and what's your worst corner?
Is it Blanchimont, the fast left-handed right at the back of the track?
Just Spa.
That was like, Del Boy, like, Monge too, Ronnie. Oh, yeah, that one.
All Rouges.
All Rouges, special.
The bike just...
It's like a safe Bray Hill, isn't
Have you ridden there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not done that.
I got on the podium there.
I've not done that.
It's good in a big bike around there,
yeah. I can imagine.
What's the worst corner? Oh, that last fucking horrible left-hander at Snetterton.
Yeah.
Riches. You come around Coram, don't you? And it's just like, why do I have to even do this to finish a lap?
I tell you what, like I'm gonna change my answer from Valencia to Carena. Actually, Carena's a mint.
Carena's lovely.
Carena's mint.
Yeah.
When you get that right on a small capacity bike, 600, it's mint.
Yeah.
I like that. I do like that.
And then I like Charlie. I like the turn 1 at Cadwell as well.
Up the hill. Yeah. Batteries.
That's one of the batteries before the rest of them die. Jess, he was down at the flat track day, and I'm not reading out. He's got a lot going on that question. Stephen Moore, all the way from Durham. What a man. Pink Panther country. Honestly, we've gone through all of these. Julian Rose. Is it true that Dom is selling the BMW to fund his hair gel addiction?
No, you need some new sunglasses.
Yes, Julian, you are banned.
We've answered like a lot, just to call people out, we've answered a lot of people. So like Jim Travers here saying about BSB, Honda, like manufacturer putting a BSB and the roads. Like, yeah, we've obviously talked about all of that. He's asking about your short circuit stuff, Dom, but obviously that's not decided yet. He's asking about you going to endurance. You would love to, is the answer to that.
That's where I want to be. I haven't been able to get a definitive answer on what I'm doing next year, but I want to do World Endurance again next year, and I'm trying, and I'm talking with a couple of possible options, but I'm dealing with foreigners and nobody wants to.
Anyone outside of Yorkshire's a foreigner to you. So
do you know what? I'd love to be back on that Metis again. I really enjoyed that. I think, yeah. The group of people, a lovely group of people.
Is that where you're putting your main focus?
Yeah, but they're not giving me an answer at the minute because There's two things. They're building the Honda, which is a massive undertaking to do that. So the bike is a Suzuki engine, and everything built around that engine is built around that Suzuki. So for them to change to a Honda, they have to redesign everything, which is a fucking monumental task.
Yeah. Are these the lads in your vlog? You know, that listen to the show and met Martin and everything like that.
They listen
lads.
To Gabriel Pons and Ludovic Rizza. But they're just ace lads, and I really
that's
enjoy
my ringtone.
Do you know what? It was probably one of the most enjoyable environments that I've been in. I just loved it. I loved the lads. I was gutted that I couldn't do the race with them, because you do build like a bond with these people. It's like, you know, I just love that side of it, working together. I just like the working together thing. It's ace and doing it as a team. So, you know, and I don't think I disgrace myself. I think my times were good. I had no time on the bike. So if I can get my finger pulled out, I would like to have done the French Superbike round, the first round of the French Superbikes, which is a couple of weeks before Le Mans 24. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
And then do the Le Mans 24 hour with them. But it's not happening at the minute. So
to put a line under it, what do you need? More sponsors?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I don't think it would harm to be able to offer a little bit more. I mean, you know, like I've with
Shy Ben's getting out, son.
No. But
if you want to go to endurance, and there's people listening to this who are like fans of it and they want to help.
Well, like the team don't have the budget to do Spa.
Right.
Wouldn't it be ace if I could say, guys, I've brought you a title sponsor that can pay to do Spa?
Yeah,
I would love to be able to do that. And if that guarantees me a seat in it and that sways a decision, let's be honest, a lot of teams and team and rider lineups are made not necessarily on credit of the rider, but on...
That's sport, mate.
Exactly.
That's so,
you know, if there's somebody out there who's keen to be a part of the World Endurance thing and that was something that would make a difference, then, you know, I'm
all ears, mate.
But hey, look, we'll see what happens. You know, we're not at panic stations just yet. But I'd dearly love to be on the bike and have that as me. I can focus on that now. I can
I tell you what, I feel like we could have a whole episode. We're not going to do this now. It's definitely a deep rabbit hole. We're not going to go down. No, sponsorship wise, you know what I mean? Because sponsors come and go. It's you know when you're talking about like the questionnaire, like what am I doing next year? It's like nothing's for free. Nothing's for free. You know what I mean? Everything that I'm going to be doing next year requires funding. You know what I mean? So I've got to put my part into it as well. And that's the thing. Like everyone's situation. Like when we lose sponsors, it's nothing. Nothing bad or anything like that. It's basically, you know, situations change in personal lives and everything like that. It's like, unfortunately, I can't help you this year, and sponsors come and go.
Well, one of my sponsors was with me for 5 or 6 years. He sold his company, so his means and ability to be able to sponsor me has gone now.
That's
you know, you look after him, don't you? You give him back everything you possibly can, you know, and
but a lot of this, I've had this conversation with someone recently actually who's like coming up in the sport, and you're like, it's when you certainly in your earlier days as well. Say sponsorship, a lot of them don't get a lot out of it. Like
they do it for the love of and the passion of it,
for the person,
to be a part of the story,
for the person or the sport or both or whatever. And then typically the more serious it gets, the more serious the sponsorship gets, and so on and so forth. It's not new news that, but it is such a difficult thing. And
but that's why I like that Metis project, because if you were an enthusiast and you wanted to be involved in something,
why not that?
There's no better project to be involved in, because everybody's there busting their bollocks for the same project with the same goal in mind, with the same drive and passion. So as a sponsor, if you had a big pot of money in your pocket and you thought, I'm only doing this to get the enjoyment back from it, for me the Metis project is the perfect thing to go and do, because it's out there a little bit, and you can, and they would welcome you being involved. You know,
that is the beauty of the likes of those projects, and actually racing in the UK, to be totally honest with you, is quite accessible for sponsors.
100%.
So you can make it quite good for them in that sense, which is great. There's a couple of other quick ones that I think are good. There's just to mention, Jason Photo Strada asked about the new sports bike championship.
Cyril's mate.
Sorry.
Yeah, the new sports bike championship is going to be a full grid of potential winners, and he's referring to the bikes, which is really relevant. Like we've touched on this, I know, but the R7 cracking bike, the RS660, no denying, cracking bike. The Ninja 650 looks good, and it can have the Honda Hornet and stuff like that. There's like a load of potentially really good bikes. He's also asking about, Tom, obviously you just touched on that about announced 24 plans, and Josh, are you going to be doing any racing? I'm going to be racing some classic bikes, but nothing 100%, nothing to hide there. Just I'm going to be racing some classic bikes and hopefully on some Nortons and stuff like that as well. So.
But that's the thing, you know, we're talking about like even before we call it curtains drawn the show on that side of things. But in our sport, in general, but particularly our sport, if we didn't have sponsors, this would not be happening.
No.
You know, Christian, you know, top end superbike rider. Even though he's not reliable in flakes out. Not all joking aside, no, but he has sponsors.
Yeah.
And, you know, that changes. You know, you need sponsors. I desperately need sponsors.
We all do, yeah.
No, but but without sponsors, without our patrons asking these questions, without Alan, without Bennett, just without I'm going to get these initials right. They're brand new. JCT. I'll tell you what, my favourite thing about JC Truck and Trailer Rental is he sponsors Lee Johnson. If that doesn't say one thing, it doesn't say anything at all. He's got a sense of humour. you know what I mean? He's got a bit of crap, but he got in touch with Grace and just said, "Look, I want to help the show out."
Brilliant.
And he just that's what an amazing man. He's like, no, I just want to help out. And you think, what if?
Yeah,
that is exactly your point. People want to be in it for the right reasons.
Yeah,
I think that's amazing. Same with this particular episode, like sponsor and. It's Ability Energy. You know, he's a sponsor of Jamie Lyons, sponsor of Keith Farmer, and the whole family are involved. It's that environment.
But when people like that cease to be involved, the sport dies.
100%.
Yeah.
So
it's driven
thank
by
you from all of us, because without you guys, we aren't doing it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think that is a beautiful way of like tidying the show. But
thank you for 2023.
Yeah. Again to Bennett and OMG as well. Obviously Bennett's doing the bike social stuff again next year, which actually for anybody who in the sort of like support classes of BSB is something to consider, actually getting your sponsors involved with bike social, because in terms of the access and things that you can get, it's actually an amazing thing to be able to provide them. So go and encourage them to be part of bike social if they're going to come and sponsor you and be at events and stuff. Like obviously it's open to everybody, but it's a really good it's an amazing experience. Like you don't get that anywhere else, do you?
And another opportunity, we are down with the OMG guys at the Birmingham Car Show, which is that the XL? No, the XL's in London.
Yeah,
NEC. Thank you very much. So they've got the car show down.
Autosport show, is it?
The Autosport show. That's right. So OMG have got a big stand up there. So me and Grace are going to be down, and that is the weekend of the 14th and 13th. I'm looking over here. I'm going 14th, 13th because I'm in. Because I'm in eye surgery on the 15th. So I've got to fly back home for the 15th to get a bit more spent in the NHS's budget. So no, but like I say, we're going to be there selling merch. We've got calendars available, hats, caps, everything.
Well, a quick spin through the calendar.
No, you can't, because I'm not putting it on air for everyone to flick through YouTube. They have to buy. You can have a look after it, son. You can have a look after it. And obviously, at the moment, all the Chase and the Race and Chrissy's blend of Quick Shifter coffee, that limited edition element absolutely flew off the shelf, which is
sold out immediately.
Sold out immediately, and it just shows that Chrissy will. It's just such an influence, and he'll never not be. And without Chrissy, we wouldn't be here. So I feel like we need to tidy up that there.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, lads, and
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
To all of you.
Love you all. Stay tuned. Don't skip the adverts.